Jabba climbs atop the rubber and looks into Posada. You see Cora's numbers, 286, 8 runs batted in with Jose Reyes on the DL. Jabba's ready, Reyes is ready. Let's do it here in the Bronx. Yankees and the Mets. The pitch is a strike, and we are underway.
Well, as we mentioned at the Open, with the injuries to the Mets right off the bat with Jose Reyes out, you mentioned it, Michael. Alex Cora being a good utility player in his career, having the starting role now.
Count 1-1. Met manager Jerry Manuel took over when the Mets fired Willie Randolph. He was Randolph's bench coach. And there's Joe Girardi. The 1-1. There's a strike. Count 1-2. Mets lost 2 out of 3 to the Phillies. Both losses, excruciating losses. Mets had a lead, gave the lead up. Phillies came back. A very gritty team, the world champion Phillies. And the Yankees just got swept by the Red Sox in Boston. The 1-2. Missed inside. Gary Sheffield returns to the Bronx. Member of the Yankees for 3 years. And the 2-2. Soft roller toward third. Alex Rodriguez there. And there's one away. Let's look now at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. It feels like summer. It's got that sort of a vibe. 77 degrees, humidity 65%. Not much wind. The forecast for cloudy skies, but right now there's an awful lot of blue up there.
Finally.
A lot of rain yesterday.
Beautiful. Beautiful day for a great series. Love this whole interleague play, certainly the Subway Series.
There's 20-year-old rookie Fernando Martinez. And the pitch. Outside 1-0. Yankees actually got in much later than they normally would. There were storms over New York, and airports kept closing. Yankees had a circle, and I think everybody got into their beds about 4:30 today. And Joe Girardi canceled batting practice so the team could sleep in just a bit. And the Mets series was at Citi Field. The 2-0. High fly ball, shallow left. Melky Cabrera comes on. And there are 2 outs. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. You might wonder why is Melky in left. Well, Johnny Damon's eyes were bothering him. He actually dropped a fly ball off the bat of David Ortiz in the 4th inning yesterday at Fenway, and then kept rubbing his eyes. He has a twitch in the eye. Went to an eye doctor today, and that's just simply from fatigue. Here's Carlos Beltran, and there's a strike.
I get that twitch every now and then, Michael, every time Boomer Wells comes in town. I know exactly what Johnny Damon's feeling right now.
The 1-2. Check that. That was 1-1. Now it's 2-1. Jabba working quickly. And the 2-1. 2-2. Let's take a look at the umpires. It's always important to know who they are. Philden Culberth is behind the plate. Gary Cederstrom is at first. Turn around, Gary. You missed a close-up. Jim Wolf is at second. And Brian O'Nora is over at third.
Certainly one of the best crews around.
There's Gary.
All these guys are solid, consistent umpires.
Crowd looking for the strikeout, and Jabba overthrows there in the count. 3-2. A look from behind home plate in the upper deck here in the new yard. The 3-2. Swung on and missed. Off-speed pitch, and Jabba pitches a 1-2-3 first inning against the Mets. Beltran looking for something a little bit harder. He swings over the top. That's nothing, and the Yankees coming to bat. Hernandez's turn. He's warming up right now to Brian Schneider. The veteran right-hander will face this Yankees lineup. Yankees come in 2 games behind the Red Sox, 34 and 26, and they lead off their captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter. Look at the numbers lifetime against the Mets. Nick Swisher's in right field. We'll bat second. Batting third and playing first base, Mark Teixeira. Alex Rodriguez cleans up. He's a third baseman. Robinson Cano's in a slump. The second baseman will bat fifth, batting sixth. And catching Jorge Posada. Hideki Matsui, the DH, at seventh. Batting eighth and playing left field, Melky Cabrera. And Brett Gardner is in center field. He's going to bat ninth.
And on the mound for the Mets, 34-year-old veteran pitcher Livan Hernandez done an excellent job for the New York Mets. Came in as a non-roster spring training. Look at these numbers, very respectable. He puts the ball in play, makes the fielders field. Let's take a look at the G pitcher scout report. Innings. In 10 years, he's pitched over 200-plus innings. He's got over 61 innings this year. Art of deception. He's going to change speeds, all sorts of different pitches and angles, and the right stuff. Hasn't allowed a home run to a right-handed batter in his last 7 starts.
Did you decide yourself not to capitalize innings there? Just INN?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did? Good call. Here's Derek Jeter. And Hernandez deals. Upstairs. Hey, Livan Hernandez has to be especially happy today. His brother, El Duque, back in baseball. Signed with the Texas Rangers.
How about the Rangers? First place in the AL Central or West.
Now, El Duque is listed as 37 years old. Anybody in the booth, raise your hand. You think he's 37?
37?
37 is his listed age.
Well, the second number's right.
Good answer.
And the 2-0. There's a strike.
Now, wait a minute. Now, didn't you say you were down on the boardwalk and you had, like flip-flops and 4 beers and 283?
82.
82 miles an hour in the boardwalk? Yeah. Let's go. Comeback time. I got you right here.
Left-handed. I was watching Jamie Moyer do it.
And the 2-1. Driven out to right field. Going back is Church. On the track, he makes the play. 1 away. Let's take a look at the Mets defense. Brought to you by Home Depot. You've already met Church in right. You've got Beltran in center and Fernando Martinez in left. Beltran's won 3 straight Gold Gloves. In the infield, let's go third to first. Right, Cora, Castillo, and Murphy. Schneider behind the plate, and Hernandez is on the mound. Well, with Johnny Damon out of the lineup, Nick Swisher in his 5th game this year in the 2-hole. In the previous 4, 6 for 15, 400 batting average. Look what he's done since May 29th, 389 over 13 games.
It's a matchup play here, too, from Joe Girardi. 455 lifetime against Livan Hernandez. A few of the Yankee hitters have hit Levo well, especially A-Rod, 625 with 3 homers.
1-0. Now you're close enough to call him Levo?
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I don't like when people do that. Well, I played with him, so yeah.
That's all right, Allie. The 2-0. There's a strike, good teammate?
Very good. When I did play with him in '97, he came over as a defected player from Cuba. And I remember sitting on the bench with him. You can appreciate this, David. He's sitting there. We're facing the Padres. And Ken Caminiti, the late Ken Caminiti, was up.
That one's driven deep to left field, giving chase Martinez, and near the track he puts it away for the second out.
And Caminiti was having, I think he was MVP that year with the Padres, and he looked at me in his broken English, and we're going over scout reports, and he was going to pitch his first game. I believe that was his first start, major league start. He said, Caminiti, good hitter? He's a good hitter? And I looked at him, I thought he was kid. I was like, yeah, he was like leading in every category. But it brought me back to realizing, you know what, this guy's pitched a career of just doing his thing. Didn't matter who was up. Little this, little that.
And the pitch to Teixeira is a strike.
Well, I love his windup, Al. You know, see the way he kind of gets a full turn. He pitches from the first base side of the rubber, and watch him take his eyes off the target and almost look down at the ground right there. And then pick up the target late.
Did you do that?
You know, I was hard. You know, different guys would like to fixate their eyes on the target, but this guy, you know, sometimes that helps you stay back. He's not even picking up the target right now. He's making sure he's staying back, and right at the last minute, he picks up the target. Different strokes for different folks, but I certainly like that style because it helps you stay back, spend more time over the rubber. It's easier not to rush with that kind of a delivery. But you've got to be able to trust that you're going to pick up the target soon enough as you wheel your head back around.
See, I didn't like that. I tried all different ways, but I felt like I had to be laser almost probably to an obsession. But there you see way over to the first base side. Usually a guy that uses his two-seamer, wants the ball in the alleyway longer.
1-2. Off-speed pitch. And Mark Teixeira foul tips to stay alive.
Curveball out in front, just gets enough of it.
61 miles an hour. You talk about variance in speeds. Even though he doesn't top out much more than 85, that is incredibly slow curveball.
And the 1-2. 2-1-2.
You know, and I think of Mike Mussina last year, his best career, really, if you could say, 20-game winner. How often did we see Mussina go from that mid-80s down to the high 60s?
It's hard to throw a ball 61 miles an hour
without lobbing it.
And the 2-2. Strike three. Teixeira down looking. That's an impressive first inning for Livan Hernandez as he retires the Yankees in order. 2 fly balls and this pitch that just whispered right on the inside corner to strike out Mark Teixeira. 1 in the book. We go to the second. No score. And Fios over 100 HD channels and the fastest internet. This is Fios. This is big. Fernando Nieve takes over for the DL John Maine, and Andy Pettit will go for the Yankees. We'll have post-game coverage after the game. The game will be on Fox. Then immediately after the final out, turn to Yes, and we will have post-game coverage. And Kimberly Jones will work the clubhouse, and Bob Lorenz will be in the studio. Here's David Wright. Pitch outside. They just had a text poll on the scoreboard. Who's your favorite ex-Met that became a Yankee? And the choices were David Cone, Doc Gooden, and Al Leiter. That one is lined into right center field, and it dunks in front of Brett Gardner for a leadoff single for David Wright, who's been red hot of late. Now 9 for his last 14. And we thought so much of that text poll. It's our text poll as well.
Try to get inside. Jabba did. See David Wright pulling his hands in, getting the barrel of the bat. Just enough out there in center field. When a guy's hot, it doesn't matter. Everything, they're relaxed. They talk about the ball looks like a beach ball. They don't think when they get up there. It's amazing the ebb and flow of the mindset of a major league player.
Here's Ryan Church. Jerry Manuel, the Met manager, says that he doesn't have a problem with Church, but his actions belie his words. Because when Church came up the DL, he said that Church was going to play every day. And yesterday the Mets played the Phillies, and Church was on the bench, and Fernando Martinez played. So I don't know if there's a love between Manuel and Church, but Church is in there tonight. There's a strike.
Well, I talked to Ryan Church a little bit about that, and you know, being careful because it's something that's been talked about enough. And Ryan swears that he doesn't have an issue, and he thinks that his manager doesn't have an issue. But as you say, you know, the actions don't always correlate with the words. He says, Ryan Church, he's fine with Jerry. Jerry says he's fine with him. in defense of Jerry, prior to the series of the Phillies, he said he was going to pick which of the left-handers that he was going to take Ryan Church out. He just thought it was a better matchup for Martinez to face the soft-throwing Jamie Moyer.
Yeah, but I mean, would you want a 20-year-old facing a 46-year-old? What's the better matchup? And that's what he chose, to have a 20-year-old against a savvy veteran. The 1-1. And also, there have been other instances. In spring training, he said through the media that Church was not the everyday right fielder. It was going to be Murphy playing in the outfield more regularly without telling Church. And then Church missed third base in the game. I believe it was against the Dodgers. And Jerry Manuel wouldn't even say his name in the postgame. He said that guy, that player. So I don't think they're going to exchange Christmas cards. That's my guess. The 2-1. Grounded and knocked down there by Teixeira. Goes to second. They get one. That's all they get. What a play by Teixeira.
We've seen this all year from Mark Teixeira. He's got great wingspan. He's a little short hop and right from his knees and up and over. Make sure you get the guy at second because there's really no chance to turn a double play here. Teixeira knows that. He's going to allow a little lob shot. Jaba's over there in time as well, but no chance to turn it.
That is great instincts right there, as David just described. For him to know that he was in line with the runner, as a runner's supposed to do, he was able to do that little lob throw, knowing that it was just going to be a force issue and not being able to get the double play. Great instinct.
Gary Sheffield greeted with boos by the Yankee fans. He's been a savior for the Mets. They picked him up off the scrap heap. Released by the Tigers. The Tigers are paying $13.6 million of his $14 million salary because they just didn't think he had anything left, that he wasn't a fit on their team, and the Mets took a minimum wage flyer on him, $400,000. And with all the injuries they've had, Sheffield has been so important for them. But he's actually had to play probably a bit too much. And he's feeling some pain in the back of his knee. There was a strike. Sheffield had a good run here with the Yankees in 3 seasons, 291, 76 homers, 269 RBIs. But when he left, he had some disparaging comments to make about Joe Torre, and I'm sure that did not endear him to the Yankee fans. Actually intimated at the time that Torre made decisions and played favorites predicated on the color of a player's skin, and you both play for Joe Torre, and that probably couldn't be further from the truth.
I completely agree with you, Michael. Yeah, I never saw any of that from Joe Torre. He's one of the most even-handed managers I've ever played with.
1-1.
I played with Chef not only that little bit at the end of my career. I played with him in Florida, and I can tell you it's amazing the persona that is perceived by the press and the fans and then what's internal. And he's a great teammate. I really like him. I think at times, whenever you're disgruntled or things aren't going the way you'd like it, some guys have the propensity to say things that they could later regret.
There's that slider that Al talked about in the scouting report, 2-2.
Power slider. What makes it so effective is it looks just like a fastball, and because of the speed variation is quick to fastball velocity in that upper 80, low 90 range, the reaction time is very quick for a hitter to have to identify that it's not a fastball, slider, take or swing.
And Sheffield's worked the count full.
Well, we saw it in the first inning, ended up getting Beltran out on a 3-2 slider. And as I said in the scout report, Jabba Chamberlain, I don't care, 95 to 100 mile an hour fastball, he will use his slider at any count. Sheffield not the same bat speed as he once had earlier in his career, getting older. You wouldn't think twice at a time like this early on to throw something off speed. See what Jabba decides to do here.
Runner goes, 3-2, strike 3, throw to second. Not in time. So a stolen base for Church as Sheffield strikes out for the second out of the inning.
See, Jaba's got a high leg kick. Pretty good jump there from Church. Even though he looks back and kind of slows up a little bit, Posada short hops the ball and doesn't get a good handle because it's a 3-2 slider right down the middle. And Posada, oh man, just a couple of feet from a perfect throw, but you see Cano's got to come up with a short hop and no chance to really get it and make a tag.
Sheffield did not like that call and told Philden Colbreth as much. And Sheffield's now 3 for his last 29. And that's why Manuel's always trying to get him a rest. Guy's in his 40s and really not an everyday player anymore physically.
That pitch was right there. 3-2 slider. We've seen Jaba throw a lot of 3-2 sliders this year and last year for that matter. And he can throw one for a strike and he can throw one for a ball. He's got great command and confidence in that pitch.
Here's Daniel Murphy, who has really, really struggled. The Mets expected much bigger things from Murphy. And the 1-0. Inside 2-0.
Posada kind of setting up a way, but you can see that ball is right down the middle. Certainly high enough as well.
There's a strike. Murphy started the season and left and really had some misadventures out there. And became the first baseman when Carlos Delgado had to undergo hip surgery. They weren't sure what position he would play, but they thought that he would hit. So the 242 average is kind of a surprise to the Met organization. That one tied up Murphy. Darting slider down and in.
Just disappearing. Michael just said darting it, and a lot of sliders. If the hitter will look for a dot, and actually you'll see this little dot spinning at you, but he throws it with such great velocity they can't lay off it, as Daniel Murphy showed right there.
And the pitch right back to Jaba, and that'll do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. An inning and a half of the Subway Series. There's no score. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. For a limited time only, get down with the refreshingly retro flavor of Pepsi Throwback made with natural sugar. Let's throw it back to David Cone. 7 career seasons with the Mets, or 7 seasons. 81 and 51, great ERA. Look at that year in 88, 20 and 3, 2.22. 20 and 3.
Were you Cy?
No, I was not.
How did that happen?
Well, Hershiser threw 6 straight shutouts to end the season and broke Don Drysdale's unbreakable record of, I think it was 56 or 57 scoreless innings in a row. And Hershey, when you break Don Drysdale's record, you deserve the Cy Young.
Plus, they went on to win the World Series, didn't they?
There's a ground ball to Cora, and A-Rod is out. 1 away. You know, I look at you, David. I still look at you as a very young man. I think it's almost insulting that you're part of a throwback feature.
Wow. Externally or biologically speaking?
Now, you both played with the Mets and the Yankees. Al was with the Mets from 98 to 04, also 7 seasons, 95 and 67 with a 3.42. And David from 87 to 91, 67 and 41. You guys never crossed paths on the same team, huh? Well, with the Blue Jays for one season, right? Well, you were injured, right?
You were on the DL, I believe, in 92, or then again in 95.
No, 92, yeah. Which year was it? It was every year. It seemed like it.
95, we were teammates.
No, 92 when you came over from Toronto.
That's right.
From Kansas City. Yeah, 95.
Right.
You almost threw a no-hitter against the Royals.
It was against the Rangers, and I lost it with 2 outs in the ninth.
I remember that. Boy, I never saw you upset. You showed me a little.
What type of hit was it?
A little chapped. Yeah, it was a little duck snort.
Who was it?
Benji Gill. Broke
Gill.
it up with a 0-2 pitch. Tried to come in with a fastball, and he hit a little duck snort between third and short. Got through on the AstroTurf. I don't know what a duck snort is, Michael, but it sounds good.
I've heard it before, and I don't know either.
Now, speaking of you being chapped, for those that didn't watch the batting practice show today on Yes, really you should. 6 o'clock it was on. Al, you said you struck out David in an interleague game, and David was really chapped about that.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, there's an unwritten rule, Michael, you know.
Well, maybe back in the 60s when you pitched.
Wow.
You got to challenge the opposing pitcher. You know, fastballs. You know, before the game, a lot of times you go, hey, I throw you fastballs, you throw me fastballs. What's he do? He hooks me. A big, nasty hook.
He was sitting lefty, too, and made some pretty nice swings. And I struck him out with a couple of curveballs. He looked at me like, what are you doing? Plus, he's been in the American League. You hit in Legion ball somewhere. I guarantee he was like 300 plus. I never hit 300 plus.
Here's a 3-2. That one's drilled deep to right field. There it goes. See ya. Solo home run. Robinson Cano. And the Yankees lead 1-0.
Great start to this Subway Series for Robinson Cano. Start off very hot. You see his 10th home run for the season. Called a little bit off and on of late. Fastball right down the middle. Beautiful swing. Got his pitch. Levon not overpowering. Had it gone out in any ballpark. That was his first home run since May 27th, 52 at-bats ago. Good feeling.
And he's been slumping. 7 for his last 43 before that home run. There have been 30 games now here at the stadium, and there's been a home run in at least one home run in every one of those games. There's Posada, and the count now 2-0.
That's the thing with Robbie being patient, was able to stay on that pitch long enough. Levon Hernandez is a guy that's going to give an assortment of all pitches, speed-wise.
Grounded foul.
It's a 77-mile-an-hour pitch. I suspect probably a changeup. You look, it just speeds up Robinson Cano's bat. Full extension. He can go out and almost hook that ball middle away. And Levon Hernandez's fastball is usually in the mid-80s, but that was 77 miles an hour, which probably that little changeup he throws, and certainly wasn't trying to throw it there.
The 2-1. Driven out to center field. Beltran back. Still back. Still back. And it's off the wall. Doesn't play the carom cleanly, but Posada stays at second with a double.
Well, here's this changeup going down and away. Posada's eyes down. Good location, a little bit too much of the plate for the liking of Levon Hernandez. That's what 300 hitters do. Stay on the baseball. Thinking how the wind's playing here. 408, 407. 8th double of the season. Right there, Beltran knowing he doesn't have a beat on it. Make sure he gets a good carom.
That'll bring up Hideki Matsui, a special day for Matsui. It's his birthday, celebrating his 35th birthday. Last year on his birthday, he hit a grand slam. That one is driven to center field. Beltran is there, and he puts it away for the second out. So the home run to Cano has put the Mets down 1-0. And that's going to bring up Melky Cabrera. See his splits, home and road. 303 here, 290 away, 298 overall. 3 for 10 in the Red Sox series. And the pitch. 1-0. This is a big media event. All the people that cover the Mets and all the people that cover the Yankees, all the columnists, they have jammed the Yankee Stadium press box.
No kidding, they have jammed it. It's fun. Did you like it? The Subway Series?
I pitched in the very first one, and that was exciting back in '97 to see the old Yankee Stadium with a lot of Mets fans coming over there for the first time. See that jam-packed press box Michael referred to. But that was really exciting.
Well, I think it's a little different for the Yankees. They've always had sellouts, and I know for some of the teams, especially when the Yankees would go on the road when it first started, a team that would normally get it half full, maybe three-quarters full, it's a sellout. So that also generates the excitement. But I just thought here with each respective fan base pledging their allegiance, talking around the water cooler on Monday, it's a good time for baseball in New York.
The quirks of life, though, and you see how the Subway Series breaks down. The Yankees lead 37-29. David, if you didn't have a good arm, you'd have been sitting in that side of the press box instead of here. You wanted to be a writer.
That's true. In the old days, I'd have a cigar in my mouth, too, Michael. Like Oscar Madison.
With a hat.
Little hat. Says press on it. 3-1. Driven out toward right center. Church going back. Still back. And he makes the play on the run for the final out of the inning. Well, the Yankees get on the board first. Robinson Cano crushes a pitch from Livan Hernandez into the seats and right. Hernandez knew it. The Yankees know they're 19-7 when they score first this year. Chance to own a piece of history from the original Yankee Stadium. Seeds and other memorabilia now on sale at Yankees.com. All memorabilia comes with a Yankee Steiner letter of authenticity. For more information and to purchase original Yankee Stadium seats and other memorabilia, visit Yankees.com today and click the Shop tab. Jabba Chamberlain's had a strong first 2 innings, and the pitch is inside to Snyder. 1-0 Yankees on the Modell scoreboard. Modell's, of course, is the official sporting goods retailer of the Yankees. And the 1-0. 2-0. Jabba seems like he's gotten over the hump, David, of struggling early. And I guess whatever they worked out in the bullpen has worked out for him.
Well, he threw a lot of fastballs in the first inning, and now you see this time 2 straight curveballs. Now you're starting to see Jabba's secondary pitches. We've seen that great slider that he has, and certainly that fastball. And I'd say he's got a really good curveball and a really good changeup. And usually 3rd, 4th, 5th inning, you start seeing him break it out.
Check swing. Did he go? No. Said Brian O'Nora.
That was a perfect example right there, David, what you just said. He shook Posada 3 times to get to his slider. Posada went fastball in, fastball in, curve, and then slider. That's the kind of confidence he has in that pitch.
Strike. Snyder thought that was ball 4. But as a catcher, you have to be careful because you want that call for your pitcher.
Just enough run, late run. Looked like you got the corner of the plate.
And the 3-2. Missed inside, so Snyder walks.
Nice to beg on those check swings. Did you?
You wanted that one, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Anytime. Right? It's a. What's the ruling on a check swing?
If you show intent to swing.
Didn't he just do that?
I'm with you. We get 2 pitchers in the booth up here.
I know. It's great.
We got to talk to John Filippelli. Get a catcher in here. We'll go 4-man booth. Where's Flash? Come on down, Flash. Sit you right here in the middle.
There's Luis Castillo. Broken back ground ball at Jeter. He gets the force at second. On to first, not in time.
Well, bad knees and all. Luis Castillo, nice career. Been around a long time. Just too slow. The grass grabbing that ball. Jeter giving a good shuffle pass to Cano. Cano hoping that maybe he's got a shot. No chance. Castillo stolen bases once upon a time up in the league leaders. Had a lot of leg issues over the years.
Here's Alex Cora talking to some people with the Mets today. Cora has emerged as a real leader on this team. Everyone thinks he's a future manager, and he's become a presence in that clubhouse. He'll get on people if they're not playing hard, if they're not playing the game the right way. And he becomes very important now with the injury to Reyes as well. He's actually playing hurt. Has a splint on his hand, and he's playing through that because the Mets simply need him without Reyes.
Well, there's certain guys that you just see and know they play the game right. And as you say, Alex Cora is one of those guys. And I always thought that as far as future managers or guys that, you know, have seen it from the bench and, you know, weren't your star player. And they're sitting next to the bench coach or hitting coach and just really taking it in. And he's had that kind of career as far as utilities, part-time starter.
His brother Joey was thought of that way. Now he's the bench coach for Ozzie Guillen with the White Sox, and a lot of people think he's a future manager as well.
You also have to have, as a utility player, you have to have a respected career and people that look up to you, but you have to have the back of the manager and the coach and the front office even to feel comfortable in that role, to be able to step up and say some things as David Cohn used to do with the Yankees in his day of a true leader, whether you do it on the field and then empowers you in the clubhouse, or a guy who's been mostly a utility player to feel that role and it's appropriate.
There's a strike. Jabba does not have that 95 fastball today, but as David said on the pregame show, it seems to grow as he goes on, and other pitchers lose their velocity. He seems to build up, Dave.
Several starts this year. His best fastballs have been in his final 10 pitches, 15 pitches, his last inning. Done a lot of 91s, 92s. That one was 93. Gradually starting to creep up.
Runner goes, 2-2 is outside, throw to second. Not in time as Castillo steals the base. Cano didn't hold the throw.
See his jump, good jump. Stealing all the way. You see, by not looking in, it was not a hit and run situation, caring what the batter was doing. His 7th stolen base on the year. The Mets, even without Jose Reyes, lead the National League in stolen bases. So they are a team that will run.
That's their 62nd stolen base of the year. And Cora walks. Well, that's a shot from the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar. At Mohegan Sun, you'll find a million different ways to play with something for everyone. Visit MoheganSun.com for more information. The view from dead center, and there it is. Double purpose, the batter's eye and the Mohegan Sun. Here's Fernando Martinez, and a strike.
To review.
Driven the other way down the left field line. Cabrera gives it a look, but makes the seats out of play. Told you the Yankees have the best record in interleague play over the years. The Mets are 102-97. Last year they were 9-6. Now in interleague play against the Yankees, they're 29-37. But against the Yankees in Mayor's Trophy games and exhibition games and World Series games, 75-100 and one tie. We're in the third inning. Yankees lead 1-0 on Robinson Cano's home run. That kite's up there. Jabba with 46 pitches, and now Posada calls time.
Pitch count's in decent shape so far here with 2 on and 1 out in the third. But 23 strikes, 23 balls, 31 fastballs out of the 46 pitches so far.
This is an interesting bat right here, David, because he's shown that Fernando Martinez is a young, talented, top prospect with the Mets. He's only 20 years old. There's really some decision amongst the hierarchy of the Mets. There you see Dave Island, the pitching coach for the Yankees, and he's blown him away with the fastball. It's an 0-2 count. Posada wants to make sure that they're on the same page. You don't ever want to do a guy a favor, throw something off speed. Let's see if he goes back with the fastball here.
The 0-2. Count 1-2.
Yeah, you're so much into a scatter report, and you want to go through your pitches, and then maybe it changes based on what you see. And they haven't seen Fernando Martinez, but he looked overmatched on the fastball.
Jabba shaking off Posada. Posada wanted the fastball probably right there.
And the pitch.
Wow, complete cross-up right there. You can see Posada kind of barking at Jabba right there. Jabba shook off what seemed to be what Posada thought was a fastball to a slider, and he gets a fastball. Watch Posada. He's not going to catch that.
Luckily for the foul ball, they hit him in the wrist.
He was not going to get any leather on that pitch. You see Posada was not happy about it.
Another conference.
Well, the only thing I can think of here, I don't know about David, sometimes you have different sequence of signs. And you have Louis Castillo at second. There's a whole cat mouse. I don't consider it cheating if a guy gives location. Not at all. If you're dumb enough to have bad signs and the sequence isn't complicated enough, and you could give location, go ahead. It's my fault. So you saw there, Jabba gave kind of a yes to initial signs, which would probably have changed the sequence. You want to be on the same page, certainly for Posada's sake.
Gamesmanship, right? Part of the game.
I think so. And so long as it's between the lines.
1-2.
Now, I have a problem with from the bench, and I definitely have a problem from the coaches. Over the years, if a coach will get in a certain spot and he can see something, whistle, call the guy by his first name, fastball, I won't say anything off speed. I have a problem with that.
Why?
They're not between the lines. No,
too?
because you get in the box. They're not in the box. Watch where most coaches don't stand there anyway.
Fernando Martinez gets plunked on the 2-2 pitch. And the wiring is all fouled up right now as Dave Island goes out.
We can see here he just kind of pulls it. He's trying to throw a four-seam fastball inside and just kind of hangs on to it too long. Little rush, his shoulder flies just a little bit, and he just jerks it inside. And really, that's a tough situation right there. You had him 0-2. Now you let him get away. You drill him. Now you get the bases loaded. Jabba just could not put Martinez away. And you're right, Al. Reading the bat, Martinez was behind on the fastball.
50 pitches for Chamberlain, just 24 strikes. Now, you've loaded the bases with 9-1 and 2, and you have arguably the Mets' best player up, Carlos Beltran. Struck out in the first inning. Off-speed pitch. Changeup.
This is what I've been talking about with Jabba. Even though he's probably not sharp with his control on his fastball tonight, he's got a good changeup, and that was it. And he broke it out with the bases loaded. Shows you what kind of confidence he has in that pitch. Supposedly his fourth best pitch.
Bases loaded with Mets. 1-0 Yankees, top of the third. The 0-1. 1-1. Beltran, 1 hit and 6 at bats with the bases loaded this season. And quickly ahead in the count, 1-2.
Good pitch there. He starts him off with the changeup, as David said. Then he kind of wastes that high fastball. If you Beltran, you could be in the mindset, all right, he was just trying to show me that fastball to come back with the changeup. Then he doubles up with the fastball in. Good sequence.
2-2.
Takes a shot with a slider down and in. Tight and hard, but just too far in. Beltran sees it, lays off.
This is the money pitch right here at 2-2. Only thing he could do with that pitch was pull it foul. See, Jabba does not have the great fastball tonight because he's reaching back and he's only hitting 92 in a big spot here. But his other pitches are working, so obviously 92 is representative when you've got a good slider and change. The pitch. That time up to 94, but he overthrew. The ball sailed up and away, so now a full count with the bases loaded.
You go with the 3-2 slider?
Well, we'll watch Jabba and see if he shakes his head. We'll see what Posada suggests, but Jabba loves to throw the slider here. Just shook him off. We'll redo it again. Turn the signs over.
Now, Jabba Chamberlain is 23. And, you know, you like the fact that he believes in his stuff. Is it smart for a 23-year-old to be shaking off a veteran catcher?
Well, it's like in the NBA. Is it a good shot if it goes in? You know, if he makes it, it's a good call. But, you know, you do like to see a confident pitcher. You do have the ball in your hand. You do have final veto power as a pitcher, irregardless of who's catching.
3-2. Grounded foul.
Yes, I don't mind it, Michael, and especially if you have a good relationship with your catcher. And as David just said, Posada, it's all about getting the guy out and making the right pitch. I would rather have a pitcher with 100% conviction behind the wrong pitch than 50% behind the right pitch. And sometimes if Posada knows, he sees bat, he sees where the ball's going, sees arm angle, but he doesn't know what Job is feeling right now. If Job has got a certain feeling in his mind, hey, this is what I want to do.
This is part of the rhythm between catcher and pitcher. And you can see the delay and how much this inning has slowed down and all the shakes of the head that we've seen from Java.
Another payoff pitch. Foul back.
One thing that's got Java in trouble, really this inning especially, is he hasn't been able to put away hitters. Even when he got ahead of Martinez a little bit, couldn't quite put him away. 0-2 right here with Beltran, who's an excellent hitter. Not quite sure what to go to in terms of finishing hitters.
They are certainly not in sync. That we can tell you. He keeps shaking off, and now Posada goes out. Again, you don't want him to throw a pitch he doesn't believe in, but you'd like them to be somewhat on the same page, and they're not close. I don't know if they're in the same book.
See, a lot of times what I do here, if I was off, I'd say, look, this pitch, I want to go fastball down the way. Whatever happens, foul ball, or if it's not put in play, then I'm going to come back with something else. I would do like back-to-back pitches. There's nothing more frustrating for everybody than to see constant shaking.
3-2. He walked him. Tie game. That'll force in a run. Ten pitch at bat. And Job has thrown 60 and still just one out here in the third.
The 30th pitch of this upcoming in this inning, as you see there, 30 and 29 balls to strikes. A 10 pitch at bat from Beltran, who walks on a 3-2 slider.
Here's David Wright, single to right center in the second. Base is still loaded. Strike. .369 hitter with the bases loaded. 4 grand slams. .94-mile-an-hour fastball. So he went slider fastball. Let's see. And David said he's been unable to put away the Met batters with 2 strikes.
Really good swing by David Wright in a zone that he loves. Up and out away from him.
Brett Tomko beginning to throw.
Well, the first at bat, he didn't get the fastball in, even though David Wright didn't hit it well. A little humpback liner to center field. Scatter report rise. He tried to bust him in up above the hands.
Well, you get the feeling that David Wright's eyes are lighting up hitting in Yankee Stadium as opposed to Citi Field. And that's another pretty good swing, even though he was a little late. But Wright's got such power the other way. A whole different feeling, I'm sure, for him in this ballpark as opposed to his home park.
He's always hit the Yankees well. .374 lifetime hitter in interleague play against the Yanks. The pitch. Breaking ball, strike 3. Right down looking. Big strikeout for Chamberlain.
His first pitch slider gets the call. Fastball, good swing by Wright. 0-2. Another slider off. Another fastball, another pretty good swing, and this is the curveball. A little slower, 79 miles an hour, a little bigger break. Borderline, maybe catches the front edge of the plate. But I think the variance in speed and a little bigger break kind of locked David Wright up there.
Here's Ryan Church, 2 outs. And a strike.
Another first pitch changeup right there by Java Chamberlain.
This is where you mentioned Java only being 23 years old. He's using all of his pitches in an inning, in a tense moment, not relying just on fastballs to get into counts.
Line drive down the right field line, foul ball.
And maybe almost to a fault, and we saw that in the at-bat when he ended up walking Beltran. Great at-bat, 10-pitch at-bat. Sometimes, you know, you're going over the scout report and you sit down with the catcher and the pitching coach to eliminate the mindset or at least the thinking. Allow the catcher to do some of it for you.
The 0-2, and a hit him. Cora with a score. Church picks up a ribby and a bruise, and the Mets now lead 2-1.
Well, it's a danger of having a hook the way he has it. He got around it a little bit. Ryan Church doing the right thing, not doing much to get out of the way. Why should he? He's got an RBI out of it. The curveball, unlike the one that he threw to David Wright that had more of that 12-6 on the hour of a clock, that more was like a slider spin.
Yeah, he just kind of overthrew a slider, hung on to it, really tried to tighten it up and snap one off. And an 0-2 pitch, man, that's a tough one to take.
Here's Sheffield. Pitch outside.
The Mets don't have a hit this inning, Michael. No hits and 2 runs on the board.
2 hit batters, 3 walks, 2 runs. And a dangerous Sheffield at the plate, the 1-0. 2-0.
Kind of watching the dugout, and Dave Island went right to the phone. You kind of get the sense, Al, that this is his last hitter. If he doesn't get Sheffield here, his night might be done.
And now he's 1 pitch away from walking in another run. Mike Harkey saying that Tomko's ready. Strike 1.
He's coming up on 41 pitches, and I think a pitch count's perfect down and away. I think a pitch counts in an inning like a minutes to a boxer, where if you go too far, then end up getting out of whack mechanically.
Sheffield trying to buy a walk.
Chef, that might have looked a lot further inside because Java was going outside, and then he nails that pitch on the inside corner.
Chef's just not picking it up because that's got a lot of the plate.
Three-two. Chop slowly back to the mound. Java Fields will flip to first, and he gets out of further trouble. A 43-pitch inning for Java Chamberlain. Mets scored 2 runs on no hits, and they leave the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the third. 2-1 Mets. Tonight's question is, who is your favorite Yankee who also played for the Mets? And the choices are number 1, David Cone, number 2, Dwight Gooden, number 3, Al Leiter, and number 4, Darryl Strawberry. Who are you voting for, Al? David gets a vote from Al.
Come on, that's embarrassing. I'm on that group. It really is.
Why? You played for the Mets and the Yankees.
Hall of Famer.
There's not one Hall of Famer there.
Should be.
There should be. David should be.
Hall of Shame, maybe.
We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2-1 Mets. A long inning on the bench for Livan Hernandez. On the Modell scoreboard, 2-1. And Modell's the official sporting goods retailer of the Yankees. Does that have an adverse effect on Hernandez being on the bench that long?
The only adverse effect is that if you wait that long, you wish they put up about a 7 spot. Because then you've got a little room to work it out. Half a jest, but yeah, I mean, there is some residual effect to be hot, be warm. You get into the game, especially early on. You just came from the bullpen, and then you sit there for how long was it? A couple hours?
25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Couple of hours. A 1-1 inside. Now let's talk about the 43 pitch inning. Is it imperative for the Yankees not to go 1-up, 2-1,
Yes.
2-3 right now?
Yeah, absolutely. You need to take a little time, but some of that's out of your element or out of your play. I mean, depending on if Hernandez will cooperate.
Line drive. That's going to be a base hit off the bat of Brett Gardner.
And he does, right on cue. Brett Gardner gets a little running, tailing fastball, down and away, right back up the middle. So a little sigh of relief for the Yankee bench and for Jabba Chamberlain.
Here's Derek Jeter. Derek was 2 for 13 against the Red Sox, the 2 hits in yesterday's game. He's 4 for his last 30, so he'd been red hot. Now cooling down just a bit. He flew out to deep right in the 1st inning. Gardner getting a very big lead. And Jeter fights it off and fouls it off. Jeter has more hits in interleague play than any other player. 43 more than Alex Rodriguez. Johnny gave him with 238. Gardner slides back.
Well, it's just a matter of time for Brett Gardner to pick his spot, but this is also a good opportunity because Derek Jeter goes to the right center field and that 4-hole between first and second base so well, as good as anybody.
And Hernandez, for a big guy, has got quick feet and a decent move for a right-handed pitcher.
Big lead.
There's trouble in the family right there. Met fan, Yankee fan. What happens at the dinner table?
See a lot of that going on nowadays, and a lot of the reason for that is this guy standing in the box right now, number 2.
But isn't it almost like part of family law that you have to root for the team that your dad roots for? You have to.
It was my family.
Hey,
I don't think we had a choice.
I've seen a lot of that. And the reason I say number 2, Derek Jeter, he's been so popular the last 10 years that a lot of the youth vote, so to speak, has swung the Yankees' way.
Runner goes, shattered bat. Gardner's in at second. The throw to first is in time, and Jeter's bat goes all the way out towards short.
Well, it's off the end of the bat. I thought it got in on him. That 83-mile-an-hour fastball probably had a little cut to it. But when it's up, not on the sweet spot, that being off the end of the bat with these maple bats, bats just don't break, they shatter.
That's exactly right, now. Just a little bit of fingertip pressure, a little bit of cut right off the end of the bat.
Here's Nick Swisher. Now, you know Nick wants to do something in this series because he had two mind-numbingly bad base running maneuvers in Boston that really just hard to explain, and also misplayed a ball in right field that was costly as well off the bat of Dustin Pedroia. 1-0. There's a strike. Swisher flew out to deep left in the first inning. Well, with both pitchers in a little bit of a jam this inning, this game is slowed down to a crawl as the pitchers are taking a lot of time between delivery. Veteran play there by Cora, trying to get between Gardner and the bag, but Gardner got through.
Well, that's either a design play or what's called daylight. You'll see the shortstop open his glove, and then it's just a matter of whether the pitcher feels comfortable to make the spin move.
Swisher right here in this situation got a 2-1 count. 9 of his 12 home runs this year have come against right-handed pitchers. Batting left-handed, obviously.
Gardner with a good leadoff second. And Hernandez staying away from Swisher. One thing that Swisher will not do for Hernandez is help him out. You got to be around the plate for Swisher to swing the bat. He's not going to widen that 17-inch strike zone.
But this is where Livan Hernandez, being the veteran that he is, even though you have a hot-hitting Teixeira, he's not going to throw him a cookie. He's going to throw any pitch at any time, even a 3-1 count.
3-2.
Little cutter.
This is what he does with fingertip pressure. It looks like a fastball, and it just kind of rides in just a little bit. Not big movement, just enough so Swisher cannot get a beat on it.
So a 3-2 count on Swisher as Schneider goes out and talks with Livan Hernandez. And Swisher's had 56 full counts this year. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. 3-2. High fly ball, right field. Church back. In front of the auxiliary scoreboard, he makes the catch. Tagging is Gardner. The throw comes all the way to right, but Gardner's there. 2 away.
A pretty good swing by Swisher there, just missed it.
There's Mark Teixeira. Struck out looking in the first inning. Batting from the left side against the righty Hernandez. And the pitch outside, 1-0.
Once again with Teixeira leading the league in home runs, 15 of them against right-handed pitchers.
Yankees 4 for 46. Previous 2 series runners in scoring position, but that number just got better. Deep to right. See ya! A long 2-run home run for Mark Teixeira into the bleachers in right center field. And the Yankees retake the lead. They're up 3-2. It is amazing what Teixeira has been doing at the plate.
And you said it, Michael, for a guy who started off so poorly, stood in front of his locker, addressed everybody. You knew what he was all about based on his history. This is a fastball that didn't get inside enough. But Teixeira did exactly what good, strong home run hitters do, depositing in right field.
Right to the bleacher creatures, above the bullpen. Right in the heart of the bleacher creatures.
20 home runs, 54 runs batted in. Leads the American League in home runs, closing in RBIs. Little controversy for Teixeira today. John Henry, one of the owners of the Red Sox, in his Twitter account wrote, after the Red Sox swept the Yankees, the curse of MT, question mark, as if Teixeira not coming to the Red Sox was a curse to the Yankees. And Teixeira was asked about it before the game. He said, I'm not going to get into something like this, arguing with a 70-year-old man with a Twitter account. I looked it up. John Henry's actually 60, but Mark Teixeira's point was well taken, I guess. He just didn't want to get into a back and forth, and he said it was a business and a family decision why I came to the Yankees. No offense meant to the Red Sox.
There was some information on the blogs, too, that Teixeira didn't, that meeting with John Henry and the Red Sox did not go well. That Teixeira walked away from that meeting, kind of second guessing whether to go to the Red Sox. So that certainly wasn't the start of that. Probably won't be the end.
In fact, Peter Gammons had told me on my radio show, David, that the meeting with Francona and Epstein went great, but with the owners went terribly. Ripped sharply and almost ate up right, and goes down into the corner down the left field line. Alex Rodriguez will have a double. That's about as hard as you can hit a ball, and Wright, who was playing deep, almost got his head taken off.
Well, you said it, Michael. Going into this career against Livan Hernandez, 625 and 3 home runs, pulls his hands in nicely, was able to get the barrel of the bat on, smokes this ball. Wright just trying to protect mode. They call it the hot corner. That was certainly a hot ball to handle. In position, Ole. Tough smash.
That's scary. His first move was away, and his outside little Ole move.
Maybe it was your blog I read that about John Henry, Michael.
I do not blog. I've got enough stuff to do.
Come on. No blog? No blog?
No, he just texts.
Kimberly Jones has a blog on YesNetwork.com.
Right.
And she's blogging right now as we speak. Cano hit his 10th home run in the second inning. Did his 10th home run last year till August 4th. That one's lofted to deep left. Back is Martinez, still back. And he makes the play up against the scoreboard for the final out of the third. So Cano goes the other way, uses up most of the ballpark, but the ballpark could not hold Mark Teixeira as the Yankees retake the lead. 2 runs on 3 hits, the big blow off the bat of Teixeira. That's his 20th home run of the year, and the Yankees now have a 3-2 lead. It is 3-2 Yanks. And Jabba Chamberlain had a little bit of a rest after a 43-pitch inning. And the first pitch to Daniel Murphy is upstairs. Murphy tapped back to Jabba in the second. And there's a strike. 3-5-0, leading 2-1-0. Mets scored their 2 runs in the third inning without a hit. There's a strike. Miss low. And the count 3-2.
Once again, Jabba ahead in the count. 0-2, 1-2 to 3-2. We've seen a lot of this tonight. The times he has gotten ahead in the count, the Mets hitters have run him deep. Several 3-2 counts after having fallen behind on the Mets hitter standpoint.
I could see that in 2 ways. Jabba has a great slider, put away slider as Yankee fans are watching, and also show an occasional hook to lock him up. But it also shows me as a pitcher that these Mets hitters have a good 2-strike approach.
High fly ball left field. Melky Cabrera is there, and Murphy's 0 for 2. Time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. Which 2 players were involved in the last trade between the Mets and the Yankees? We'll find that out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's Brian Schneider. Count 1-0. And a strike.
Jabba right back to even with a fastball. 8 of the Mets' 16 at-bats have been at least 6 pitches tonight for Jabba.
High fly ball left field. Cabrera, 2 outs.
Well, to further on that, David, you know, just watching a few of these at-bats, especially even David Wright, he ended up striking out, but you could see his approach as he got behind. He was waiting longer, fouling the ball off. There you see a pitch count. The ball-strike ratio not great. He's right at there, about 50-50, 84 pitches. But that's where you identify if guys are getting the 2 strikes and just thinking about putting the ball in play or fighting off the fastball to get to something off speed, which Jabba has shown he's willing to do with the slider.
There's Luis Castillo. Count 1-0.
You got a situation right now, as you see Castillo 0 for 1, the fielder's choice and a stolen base with Jabba. If you don't have a 1-2-3 inning here, you're not going to get through 5. You need to have a quick inning. He's already at 85, 86 pitches. If he doesn't get through this inning 1-2-3, then he's probably not going to get through 5.
The 2-0 shows bunt. Takes low, 3-0.
You're so right, and I know I thought that. I don't know if you thought that when you had a struggle inning. You realize the pitch count, it matters today. You have a lead, especially the bottom of the order.
Lays that one right in there. BP fastball.
Joe Girardi might let him go break 100 pitches, maybe 105, but not much more.
Castillo trying to work a walk. Now the count is full.
Here on the top of the 4th with 2 outs and another 3-2 count. Pitch number 90 for Jabba Chamberlain.
And the pitch. Low, so Castillo walks.
You can see the wheels spinning there. You can bet he's thinking about it too.
Well, 2 starts in Boston. The Yankee starters only went 2 2/3. Now, yesterday, at least CC Sabathia took him into the 8th inning, so you don't want to continue to do this to your bullpen. And the Yankees have been good during their hot streak, but starting in Boston, those short outings, that wears a bullpen out. Now, they might get reinforcements because they were going to send out Brian Bruni and have him pitch a rehab assignment in the minors, at least 1 game, but now they might activate him tomorrow. And there's Bryant out in the bullpen right now. He has not been activated, though.
Boy, much needed. He was stellar, solid since he's been signed over as a waiver a couple years ago from Arizona. The importance of the bridge for all major league teams to have a solid, reliable eighth inning guy. And until his injury, he's been that guy for the Yankees. Well, you mentioned about Girardi thinking about that. There could be a little reprieve with the day off on Monday for the Yankees, that he would get an additional rest. Jabba would. So that might factor into Girardi's decision to say, you know, I can push him to 120-ish.
Not if he keeps throwing pitches out of the zone. The count 2-0. He's not helping himself. Bottom of the order, he walked Snyder in the third inning. That started things. Then the light hitting Alex Cora. Then he hit Fernando Martinez. Then he walked Beltran to force in a run. He hit Schertz to force in a run. So the Mets have not exactly been earning their offense. They're being given their offense by Chamberlain. The 2-0. Now it's 3-0.
Well, this is where I don't know how you feel about it, David, but, you know, if it's so obvious, you get 2 quick outs, you know about the pitch count, you have the number 9 hitter in Castillo, and you go 3-0. You know, as a major league pitcher, and I'm not saying it's easy because I didn't do it either often, but, you know, when you're right, you can pretty much throw a strike. Might not be quality location-wise, but put it in play, especially to lower the lineup. You know, this guy's not going to hit it out of the park.
There's a strike.
You know, pick a spot down and away, usually a safe area or outer half, and, you know, a guy who doesn't have a whole lot of pop, and take your chances of going the opposite way.
And now he's walked Cora. Now, no one's warming the Yankee bullpen, but that phone call will start someone. That looks like it'll be Brett Tomko again.
But it won't take Tomko long to get loose because he was completely ready last inning. So just a few tosses from the veteran Tomko, and you can make a move here just about as quickly as you'd like.
.95 pitches for Chamberlain. He has really labored tonight. And the pitch to Fernando Martinez is a strike. Strike 2.
See, with that batting average, Fernando Martinez has been overmatched by major league pitchers. He's a young phenom with this organization. Jerry Manuel said he wants to evaluate him a little bit more and let him see him in this kind of setting before they decide what they're going to do as far as sending him down or not.
Still 0-2.
Certainly like his tools, his skills all the way around, the player, Fernando Martinez. Make sure that the mind matches up with your physical skills.
Count 1-2.
That was once again the 25th pitch of the inning for Java. After 2 quick outs.
Chop towards second. Cano right there, and that'll do it on the 100th pitch of the night for Java Chamberlain. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Another phone call to the pen. York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Which two players were involved in the last trade between the Mets and the Yankees? And the answer is Yankees acquired Mike Stanton for Felix Heredia, a swap of left-handers back in December 3rd, 2004. (3-2). The Yankees lead. Posada leads off. That one's driven deep to center. Beltran's there. One away. Now, Java is at 100 pitches, if I'm not mistaken. And no one's up in the Yankee bullpen. You think they let him pitch the 5th inning?
Yes. Well, let's see how it goes. He's going out for the 5th. But I think it really matters how he plays it out. He's got Beltran right in the center, the middle of the order. When you get into that 43 pitches, on average, a major league pitcher is conditioned between 12 to 20 pitches.
See, that's my point about innings limits. Okay, it's almost farcical because innings with 43 pitches are more damaging than if you pitch 9 innings.
Yes.
If you pitch 43, 26, 36, like 3 innings like that in a row, that takes a lot out of you.
Yes, you are so right. It's how did the pitcher get to 100? I'm not sure where this 100 pitch count became such the benchmark. Look, I'm about protecting arms. I mean, I had a manager in Dallas Green here with the Yankees. I pitched 162 pitches. I think you had a similar game. I'm not advocating that, but how did the pitcher get to it? And we're just so bells and whistles. Oh, he's got 100 pitches. How did he get there?
Okay, but then the question is, he got there. He labored to get there. So why push him over 100 right now?
Okay, if he labored in the first 2 innings, you see a guy who struggle early on, give up a 2 spot in the first, maybe another one in the second, and then he settles in. I'm okay with that guy going 120.
I agree with you, Alan. Michael, that's a great point. You have to know how you got there. A lot of times when I pitched, the first 30 to 40 pitches were more difficult than the last 30 or 40 pitches because you get the rough edges worn off, your rhythm is better, you're throwing with much less effort than earlier in the game when you're maybe a little too pumped up, overthrowing a little bit.
Finding out what works, what's not working?
That might be your answer right there. Tomko's warming up and looking like he's got some intent. Michael, to answer your question, you see Molina kind of working on Java right there. It's a tough call. Joe Girardi wants to try to get him through 5 innings because he's got the lead, potentially could win this game. But on the other hand, does he deserve it with the way he's labored the last 2 innings? And the bigger picture of
No one's driven to right field. Church, 2 outs.
With the bigger picture of trying to protect this kid. I'll tell you one thing about Java tonight. You say all you want about the long pitches, and he's labored, and he battled Posada and shook his head a lot, and they couldn't get on the same page. This kid's a battler. There's still only 2 runs on the board. You can tell that's pitch sequences they're talking about. Molina, one of the best in the game. And Java's doing a little venting here about, I want to throw my pitches. I shook my head a lot. Posada. Molina is definitely talking about sequences there. I mean, I can't say definitely, but I'm surmising that it's exactly what they're talking about the rhythm between him and Posada tonight, and all of the shake-offs, all of the shaking of the head, and not being on the same page. And I'm sure Posada's frustrated as well. Can't put this on Posada. This is a young kid who's still learning how to pitch. Sometimes when you're young, you can be a little arrogant out there too, and stubborn, and that's part of what makes Java so tough. I was the same way at his age. I was headstrong. I wanted to throw my own game. Sometimes it's hard to give in to a veteran catcher, and you know what? Let him lead a little bit and simplify things. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you're out there pitching. You don't have to run the count to 3-2 and throw sliders every 3-2 count.
The 2-1.
Well, I would say based on that conversation that Molina's going on and on, whatever they're talking about, he's not going out there. You're not going to do this conversation and have him go running out there and try to pitch the 5th inning. Obviously, with Tomko warming up, it's obvious that George already made this decision. They're going to distract the guy going on and on about whatever they're talking about.
Driven out into left center field. Giving chase is Martinez. He's there in the gap. He puts it away for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. So each outfielder got a turn. That looks like Java Chamberlain's night is over. He cannot win this game, but the Yankees can. They're up 3-2 as we head to the 5th. fifth inning. It's 3-2 Yankees on the Lexus scoreboard. 3-5-0 Yanks. 2-1-0 for the Mets. And as we suspected, Joe Girardi does indeed make the call to the bullpen, which is brought to you by AT&T. Your world delivered. And it's going to be Brett Tomko, who was throwing the last 2 innings along with Java Chamberlain in the bullpen. And you see Tomko's numbers. Tomko has a pretty live arm. He's consistently about 94 miles an hour. And he'll deal to Carlos Beltran. That's way upstairs, 1-0. Three, 4, and 5 in the Mets order. Beltran, Wright, and Church.
Red Tomko's been around, broke in with the Reds in 1997. Found his way to the Mariners, 2000, 2001, Padres, Cardinals, Giants, Dodgers. Back to the Padres, Royals, back to the Padres, and finds himself to the Yankees this year. That's the definition of a journeyman right there, Michael. He's 95 and 100 on his career in terms of a record with a 4.67 ERA.
Yeah, I remember when he broke in with Cincinnati and he showed the stuff of what you thought was going to be a real front-end guy. Stuff-wise, it's just a matter of harnessing it and being able to do all the things that pitchers are supposed to do consistently. He had several opportunities to sign with different clubs. He chose the Yankees because they actually gave him some assurance that maybe he would come up as a reliever, and that kind of excited him. He ended up pitching in relief a little bit last year for, I think he was with 2 teams, Kansas City and San Diego. Some with the Royals, and he enjoyed it.
Line to right field. And Nick Swisher misplays the ball, and it goes up against the wall. Backing up is Gardner, and Beltran's on with what should be a 2-base error. Well, Nick Swisher's had some misadventures of late on the baseball field.
Well, this ball was hit hard, but it's a major league right fielder. I believe once he has it tracked, he ended up misplaying it by jumping a little too soon instead of maybe taking another stride or two. See it hit it off the end of the bat or the glove. They haven't scored it yet.
Well, they gave him a double.
That ball jumps. That ball was hit hard by Beltran. It really jumps to right field. We'll ask Swisher after the game. He'll probably say he should have had it, but that was no can of corn. That was a bullet off of Beltran's bat. He's got some pop in his bat. That ball really jumps to right field here at Yankee Stadium.
Pitch is inside.
Take a look at the scouting report. Batting crown coming into tonight. #1 in baseball, 362 average. Ichiro was 360. Leader emerging. You know, here's a guy who was a #1 pick in 2001, and you know he really is that guy that the Mets are trying to rally around and be the leader. Running wild, he leads the team with stolen bases.
Think of stolen bases. There's Carlos Beltran. Tomko never looked at him.
Well, as we just saw there, this is a team that leads the National League in stolen bases, and they will run. Beltran part of that. I mentioned David Wright leading the team. Jose Reyes should be if he wasn't injured. It's a big stolen base. Anytime with nobody out, you can get to third base. Now fly ball to the outfield, you got a run score with an out. Or a ground ball to the right side as the anywhere the infield is playing back.
3-1. And Wright walks. Losada's going to wear out a path toward the pitcher's mound. Walked out there so much with Java. So now runners on first and third, and nobody out. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your tri-state area Audi dealers. Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Here's Ryan Church. 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch. That's a stolen base and a ribby. Yankees will give up the lead to turn to double play here.
Anytime a pitcher, you have first and third situation, early in the count, you want to get a double play. You just disregard the runner at third. You'll give up that out, as you say, Michael, or the run. If you get deeper in the count, then you think of strikeout or infield pop-up.
Count 0-2.
Church being the good fastball hitter. There you see a nice changeup from Tomko. That's a good ground ball pitch because the hitter out in front of it roll over. That's the theory behind it.
Now that he gets to the 0-2 count, though, you might try to finish him. Maybe try to get a strikeout.
One and two.
Just takes a shot away with a fastball. No real intent there. Kind of a waste pitch.
Yep.
That was the time to break out your best finish pitch for a lefty right there. But maybe he's got it right here.
And the count 2-2. Smells good, doesn't it? This is smell-o-vision, Al, you didn't know?
Scratch and sniff.
Line drive, and that's going to be trouble. It's in the gap, splits the outfielders, and it goes to the wall. Beltran scores. Here comes Wright. Here's the throw, and it hits Wright and caroms away. And that's going to allow Church to go to third. It's a two-run double for Ryan Church, and the Mets have retaken the lead. They are up 4-3.
Well, Tomko, after jumping up 0-2, fastball right there, right in the wheelhouse, trying to go away. You can see Church, that's where he loves it. Drills it in the gap. No doubt about it. The only question in here is there going to be a play on Wright? And actually, Cano gets off a decent throw, hits the mound, goes up the line, hits the runner. Right off of David Wright, right off of his chest. Actually, Tomko was backing up in a good spot, but on the ricochet, no chance to get over there. Next thing you know, Ryan Church is on third base.
A double to Ribbies and E4, really through no fault of Cano. Throw was on line, but it arrived the same time as David Wright and kicked away, allowing Church to move to third. Now, strangely, the Yankees don't have the infield in, so they're going to allow that run to score. And that one's fouled back.
I don't find that so strange, Michael. Actually, in this ballpark, when the Yankees are scoring a lot of runs this year, you certainly want to stay away from a potential big inning right here. And with Sheffield, who hit some of the hardest ground balls and line drives, especially to the left side, I actually agree with this right here.
But on the flip side of that, since you score a lot of runs here, well, what's the big deal if you're trying to cut this one off, and if it goes through, it goes through?
So the big deal is that your starter's out of the game, and you got Tomko in the game, and now you already got another guy warming up. So certainly in this type of back and forth game, a lot of pitches, the bullpen's worn out for the Yankees. You want to stay away from the big inning right here.
Well, you're also you're trading out, Michael. So you're trying to get the out. Major League batting averages, on average as a whole, goes up at 100 points.
All true, but I mean the flip side is the Mets bullpen is one of the best bullpens in the, if not the best bullpen of late. I mean, they do a good job out of the bullpen. So the longer you go, if you're going to give up runs so cavalierly, it might cost you.
Well, I would think in the fifth inning, this is still middle part of the game. I would agree. If you're talking, well, even next inning, 6th, 7th inning, leading into your 8th inning setup guy. Again, Sheffield getting the call there.
The 2-2. Foul back and out of play.
You know, that was an interesting point, Michael. We talked to Laurel Hershiser about this point the other night when he was in town.
That's what I was thinking of.
And he actually had sort of this advanced theory of, you know what, talking to Hershiser, he had a completely different take on this. He would go ahead and take the gamble.
That one's driven deep to left field. Fair ball, it's gone. It is gone. See ya. A long home run for Gary Sheffield. And the Mets lead 6-3. Didn't matter where the infield was.
He's got a 504 career. This breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. Mentioned it early. When you get a little older, Gary Sheffield cheating on the fastball starts a little sooner. That breaking ball wasn't where Brett Tomko wanted it in the inside part of the plate. Just bad location. See Posada setting up away. That ball ended up being middle in. Sheffield getting all of it.
The wrong mistake to the wrong guy, even in the latter part of his career, and only his 6th home run of the season. Gary Sheffield can still get it done.
Rip foul. But so Tomko, who's done so well, now gets roughed up in relief. He's given up 4, 2 on this swing.
Just a question of fair or foul off the bat, and that reaches the second deck. But I guess you're right, Michael. It's a moot point about infield in at this point. But Oro Hershiser did have an interesting take on that in terms of, you know what, you think we got an offense that's going to score runs. He would gamble because of that, as you said.
Right.
Go ahead and bring the infield in. But it's a moot point now.
Swing and a miss. And Al, you weren't there for that conversation. It was so fascinating. David and I were listening. He said that if he played for the Mets, then he would play the infield back because he couldn't afford to give up a big inning, because a big inning was something they couldn't make up. He said, but if I played for the Yankees, and the Yankees I know can score a lot of runs, I'm going to gamble and try to cut off that run, because if it's a big inning, they could still make it up. It's almost backwards the way most people would think. Pitch to Brian Schneider's a strike. You're digesting that, Al, I can see.
Well, no, I heard you loud and clear.
There's a fly ball to left field, and Cabrera's there.
Just from the total perspective of the guy on the hill, I mostly preferred my infield back because I would take the out. And I guess it was more frustrating to have the infield in and have a little, perfectly placed roller where, the second baseman would have caught it if he'd been in his normal position. I think sometimes overmanaging also can be scrutinized in a way. And I just, purely as a pitcher, I wanted to get the outs.
Pitch to Castillo.
Especially middle part of the game. I get it. 6th, 7th, 8th inning, 9th inning, games 1 run apart or you're down by 1 or up by 1, tie game.
Well, that one's got to feel pretty good for Chef. Coming back to New York in the new Yankee Stadium, we talked about his former Yankee career and it did not end on such good terms. Some party shots out the door. That one's got to feel good, huh, Al? Chef's got a little pride factor and ego going right now. And that one's one of the, he's got to love his feeling right now.
I'm sure you're right, David, on that. But I think Chef's in a different place now, in the latter part, and maybe his last year. Wanted to get that 500 home runs. He got it as a Met, in some historical ways. Uncle Dwight Gooden, big phenom with the Mets coming up. Some synergy there. Just having, sat with and spent some time with Sheffield, he just seems like in a real good place now.
It's one of the beauties of baseball as opposed to basketball or football. He can really savor the moment right now. A big shot like that, it's not like you got to get back and play defense as of yet. He's in the DH hole tonight. He can sit there and really savor that shot.
Tomko had allowed just 3 total runs in his 8 appearances prior to this inning. He's given up 4 already, turning a 3-2 Yankee lead into a 6-3 deficit. And Castillo walks. And Joe Girardi's seen enough. He's going to call on David Robertson. So a rough outing for Tomko. Double to Beltran. Walk to right. 2-run double to Church. 2-run home run to Sheffield. Tomko threw 37 pitches, and he struggled each and every one. Robertson against Cora when we get back. Tomko booed off the mound here in the Bronx. Is brought to you in part by J&R Music and Computer World, and by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees. Well, I got to tell you what, I don't know if you guys notice it, but we've got some extra cameras and different beautiful angles. This place looks great tonight. It's a beautiful evening, and this new gem on 161st Street and River Avenue is just shining on a Friday night. And there is the Yankee Stadium emblem, which you can see in one of the gates when you walk in. I believe it's gate 4. And the place looks great. David Robertson against Alex Cora, runner on first base. 1-0. Good numbers on Robertson. 13 strikeouts in 9 2/3. The ninth batter, Castillo's walked twice. The leadoff batter, Cora, has walked twice. So Jabba went 4 innings, 5 walks, but he allowed just 1 hit and left leading, but the pitch count got him. There's a strike.
Well, it's not a good sign here in the top of the 5th when your leadoff hitter, the Mets leadoff hitter, is coming up for his 4th at bat. That lineup has turned over several times here in the first half of this ball game.
Well, with some of that, there's some good at bats, as we said, some good 2-strike approaches. But you know, you have 5 walks, 2 hit bats, and only the 1 hit. You created offense. Jabba did for the Mets without really earning their way on. No way around, especially in the bottom of the order. That's the most frustrating part. When you look back at the game, you know you have to attack these guys. You got the middle of the lineup. There's a team that's been injured, really outside of elite players as far as numbers-wise going around the league. Beltran and Wright. You have a lot of maneuverability as far as pitching to guys. Much easier said than done. It's not an easy thing to do. Continue to, like pages of a book, to execute your pitch, exploit a hitter's weakness, go over the scout report, and continue to make pitches.
One-two pitch out.
David Robertson, a 17th round pick in 2006, was a starter. This year they sent him down to Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Ended up being relief. Did a very good job before getting called up. Tax hitters, good fastball. You see that 92, more than respectable. Got a big curveball. Nice change.
Cora continuing to battle.
Well, it's kind of interesting as you look at Robertson in this inning trying to get through it in relief from Tomko. The Yankees are well positioned, probably better than anybody in the big leagues for withstanding short starts because they had 3 long guys, potential long guys in their bullpen. They've already burned through 2 of them. Tomko is a long guy who can give you multiple innings. Hughes is a long guy who can give you multiple innings and did for Wang the other night.
Corner goes. Foul ball.
Now you've got Aceves who can give you multiple innings, who pitched last night in the 8th inning. So Robertson right here, traditionally more of a 1 or 2 inning guy. It's going to be interesting to see how Girardi pieces together the rest of this ball game with a lot of innings left to be played.
I know Phil Koch has not been used as that guy here, but he was a starter also in the minor leagues through his whole career.
Got Gooden in the house. Saw his nephew just go yard, Gary Sheffield.
This is the pesky at bat that Cora has shown in his career, just fighting it off. As a pitcher, you say, okay, he's fighting off the fastball. He's late on it. Do I throw him a breaking ball? Is it doing him a favor? See Robertson and Posada choosing to attack him with the fastball. This will be his 9th pitch coming up. That's what a pesky leadoff hitter really should do.
Runner goes again, strike 3. Cora down looking. But a big inning for the Mets. They score 4 runs on 3 hits. No errors and 1 left. The big blow. Gary Sheffield's 2-run home run into the second deck, just inside the foul pole. We're halfway through. Mets up 6-3. Inning. The Yankees are down 6-3 as you take a look at the Great Hall here at the stadium. One of the stunning attractions in this ballpark. Gathering place for a lot of people. Brett Gardner will lead off against Livan Hernandez, who now has a lead. Again, on the Lexus scoreboard, the Mets are up 6-3. They're up 2-1. Yankees came back to take the lead 4-3, but 4 runs in the 5th against Brett Tomko has put the Mets ahead again. Count 1-1 to Gardner. Gardner singled to center and scored on Teixeira's home run in the 3rd. And the 1-2. Driven out to right field. Church is back. Boy, that ball really took off, and he runs it down on the warning track for the first out. They time for another look at tonight's Toyota text ball. Once again, the question was, who's your favorite Yankee who also played for the Mets? You've been texting us at 58772, and here are the results. David Cohn with an overwhelming victory, obviously in the red and blue states, 62%. 20% thought it was the straw man. Al Leiter got 15%. Dwight Gooden 3%.
I don't know.
That is going to upset Dwight, David.
You got nothing, Doc.
He should have been higher than this cat.
I'll tell you what. Thanks, Mom, Dad. Appreciate that.
Now, Al, you have an excuse. You were actually a Yankee first, so they're kind of eliminating. Those other guys were Mets first. So I'm giving you a little bit of an out.
Oh, you are? Okay, good.
You were drafted by the Yankees.
Yes.
So they think of you as a Yankee, not as a Met. You were never a Met. They just erased that from their memories.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Kind of like you have. The 0-1. 1-1.
That's just a statement you just got to let breathe for a while.
I know. I can't touch that.
No, you guys are some of the lucky guys that have experienced this unbelievable ride from both sides of the city. And how great is that? And you both had really great moments as Yankees and Mets.
Well, he had
106 players who played for both the Mets and the Yanks. I'm sitting next to two of them.
I could tell you, for me, just having grown up about 65 miles from here, and
that one's driven out to right field deep. Church back, track, wall, see ya! Solo home run, Derek Jeter. And the Yankees now trail 6-4.
Hernandez up and out over the plate. And I tell you what, that is not a location you want to try to test Derek Jeter on anytime in his career, especially now this year. He's been driving the ball so well. Takes a shot at right field. Fastball up and out over the plate. Maybe tried to get a cutter. Belled high, middle away, right where Derek loves it.
Here's Nick Swisher. And the pitch outside, 1-0.
Well, you are so right, David. That is his sweet spot. For his whole career, that Jeter-esque swing going to right center field.
Count 1-1.
You know, patient at bats. Stay with it. You have a guy that's not going to strike a whole lot. He's going to be around the plate. Livan Hernandez, plenty of time. Make him work, even though his pitch count is very respectable at his 75.
Jeter now has 9 home runs. He didn't hit his 9th home run last year until, September 4th. So he is well ahead of his pace.
Wow, that's glaring.
He also got drilled with a pitch and had a little bit of a hand injury that he tried to play through last year that really affected his power for a better part of the summer.
He's never been a big-time home run hitter, but this ballpark, the way it's playing this year, plays to his advantage because his power is that way. And he could have 20, 25 home runs. Looks like something's up with Hernandez. No, I think he was unhappy with the call, so Jerry Manuel is trying to act as a buffer with Field and Culbreth.
Well, here Jerry Manuel is just supporting his pitcher, but look, if I'm fielding Culbreth and you have a pitcher barking at you, you're going to let him know, hey, first of all, you're not supposed to argue balls and strikes. You could do it in subtle ways. You can look at him a little longer, maybe give him the look like, hey, where'd you have that? But to blatantly just start yelling at him. Plus, these guys, they have memories. You know, you don't want to get them too upset. They'll end up really squeezing you.
Well, the unusual part about this game is that Fielding Colbert has really got more of a pitcher strike zone, and really there's been no contested pitches up to this point. Just kind of shows you how much the pitchers have struggled.
2-2, and the count 3-2. '57th full count of the year for Nick Swisher. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Fly ball to left, fly ball to right. 78 pitches for Hernandez, 42 strikes.
He glaringly leads the Yankees in walks at 42. Overwhelmingly, I should say. Second is Jeter.
3-2. Hit sharply to short. Cora for the second out. And that's going to bring up Mark Teixeira. Last time up, Teixeira with a long 2-run home run. Got into the bleachers over the Yankee bullpen in right center. 20th home run of the year. That leads the American League. Hitting .343 in the month of June so far with 4 home runs and 10 ribbies, and it's June 12th. Had a great May as well after a really cold April. His numbers, if you consider where he was at the end of April, really are startling. To have 20 home runs and 54 ribbies, hitting close to 300. Right now he's at 291, so not close, but 291. He was on the interstate for weeks. He has 9 home runs in his last 15 games here at home.
And it's really a testament, Michael, to him not succumbing to what's wrong. You historically said you have been and you were a cold starter, and he just stayed the course. He answered the questions and trusted his ability.
Grounded right back to Hernandez. He waits for Murphy. Murphy's there. And that'll do it. Levon Hernandez staring right at Fielding Colbert and then walks off. Well, the Yankees get 1 run back. How do they do it? The captain, with his Jeterian swing, sends it to right field. His 9th home run of the year. We've played 5, 6-4 Mets. Coffee system from the same people who bring us our office supplies. WB Mason, who but? Fernando Martinez against David Robertson, and there is a strike. Count 0-1. 6-4, the Mets lead, 6-4-0 to 4-6-1. Yankees have 3 home runs, the Mets have 1. And the pitch outside.
Well, you hear about it all the time, Michael. A shutdown inning, you get the home run from Derek Jeter, making this game closer. You see Livan Hernandez was a little frustrated last inning. This is a big inning for him.
Soft ground ball to second base. And there's one away.
Big inning for Robertson and the Yankees. So, you know, if you could get through here, you got the middle of the order. Get your guys up there in the bottom of the sixth before their tough bullpen that the Mets have, even though J.J. Putz is out. Bobby Parnell has been solid. So has Pedro Feliciano.
Here's Beltran. Walked to force in a run in the third, then doubled, stole a base, and scored a run in the fifth. Robertson has some giddy up on the fastball, a little bit low there, and the count 1-0.
Smooth too. He's just got a nice delivery. Good looking pitcher. You look at certain mechanics and you see a little herky-jerky to it. He does not have that. A smooth leg kick. And the difference between, I know David, you know, talking about the relievers, starting, relieving, flipping lineups over, velocities going up or down. You know, for Robertson to come in these roles as a reliever, you just come after a guy.
He's got that Andy Pettit thing working too with the glove, almost covering his eyes. There's not much room between the glove and the bill of the cap. Locked in. Full. 3-2.
Just in case you were wondering, Michael, Boston and Philadelphia up 2-1. Bottom of the 8th. John Lester starting for the Red Sox. 11 punch-outs in 7 innings. Okajiba has relieved him. Joe Blanton for the Phillies had a solid game too. 7 innings, 2 runs.
Okajiba is going to be so important in that series with all the left-handers that the Phillies have. He'll probably pitch in all 3 games. You've got Utley, you've got Howard, you've got Raul Ibanez.
Just in case
he
you
beat
were
the Mets
wondering.
last night. I was wondering that.
Yeah, that's true. Just in case you were also wondering, Youkilis has got another home run.
3-2. And another walk. The Mets being very patient, and the Yankee pitchers are certainly accommodating them.
Yeah, I think when you see a guy, you mentioned patient, that Beltran just had a good at bat. We've seen 9-10 pitch at bats. To me, it shows that hitters are pretty comfortable, even on the batting average, other than Beltran and this guy here, David Wright. They're seeing the baseball and they have a good plan, good approach.
Another quick update, Michael. In Toronto, Roy Halladay, my favorite pitcher, certainly I think is the best pitcher in the game right now, had to walk off in the 4th inning with a strained right groin. After pitching 3 innings, giving up 5 hits and 1 run. Toronto leading in that game against the Marlins 2-1 going into the 7th.
Yeah, that's one of those classic interleague matchups that go back for years, Toronto and Miami. Clash of the Titans there.
Florida. They're not
Florida.
Miami yet.
They're going to be Miami when that stadium breaks ground in a month.
Blue Jay and the Fish, huh?
Oh, it's big. Throw out the records when those two get together. Goes back to the 20s. The 0-2. Swing and miss. Cranked up the fastball, blew it right by right. 2 down.
Boy, that's just coming right at him here. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Middle of the plate. Looked like a good pitch. You see David Wright just pulling off a little bit. Nothing fancy about that. Overpowering David Wright.
So Wright has struck out twice. One's looking and they're swinging. Here's Ryan Church. Church with 3 RBIs. Wonder if Jerry Manuel likes him tonight. 1 for 2. Throw to first and Beltran's back.
Some good plays in the outfield too.
Yeah, you're right. Church has played it right though throughout the whole ordeal. Hasn't said a word. Hasn't tried to answer back. Says I have no problem at all. I just want to play.
Boy, and the sooner you can learn that, you're so much better off. You're right, Michael. Your feelings and heat of the moment, whatever the situation takes over, and you end up regretting 9 out of 10 times of what you say.
Strike, count 0-2.
You could almost see Ryan Church there kind of whisper to Fielding Culbreth, the ball's up, but he didn't look at him. He didn't show him up, as you see Johan Santana, who we'll see on Sunday. But Church kind of, that's the way you argue with an umpire. You let him know, but you don't turn your head.
And that you get the respect of the umpire. You're exactly right. You can get your point across to let him know that you thought it was a bad call without disrespecting him. They appreciate that.
Swing and a miss on the breaking ball, and that'll do it. Good inning for Robertson. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. Bottom dropped out of that one in the dirt. Church swings over the top, then we go to the bottom of the 6th. Subway Series turn back to yes when our coverage continues with the Emmy Award-winning WB Mason postgame. And on Sunday, full coverage of Game 3 starts at noon with batting practice today and the pregame, followed by all the action at 1 o'clock. It's only on yes. 6-4 Mets lead. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Alex Rodriguez will lead off against Livan Hernandez. And there's a strike. 6-4-0 for the Mets. A lot of walks thrown in there. And 4-6-1 for the Yankees. 3 home runs thrown in there. Cano a solo shot. 2-run shot by Teixeira. And Jeter a solo shot. And the 0-1. 1-1. A-Rod grounded to short and then doubled to left. A hot shot pass right is playing very deep at third and close to the line. Hernandez doesn't have a great fastball, so Alex Rodriguez in all likelihood will pull anything Hernandez throws. That's why the defense is the way it is, at least in the infield. The 2-1 grounded foul.
And there's something to be said for the career and history of a battle, of a matchup. And Livan Hernandez, even though they see the newly called up left-handed pitcher John Switzer for the Mets, A-Rod's comfortable. Obviously, he sees the ball well off of Livan Hernandez. 6:25 coming into tonight's game. And it becomes a cat and mouse. As a pitcher, you try to throw opposite of what you've thrown in the past.
Foul bat.
Sometimes you end up out thinking yourself and knowing that you know a hitter has got your number, as Alex does.
Rip foul.
That was interesting there. That was a curveball sign. And maybe, David, you may have had the ability to do this, but normally a breaking ball, for a right-handed pitcher, the catcher, Schneider, would move on the outer third or outside corner. He gave 2 curveballs. Curveball away. Do you want to throw the one that's going to go away, or the one inside, which usually is thrown at the hip? Yeah,
exactly. Little front door breaking ball. If Livan Hernandez has got that one. You can throw your breaking ball to both sides of the plate at this point in your career when you're not a power guy. It's very effective.
Alex has worked the count full.
Especially nowadays, Al, it's almost like, 20 when we broke in. We are old, but 20, 30 years ago, it was kind of the bail and whale area. Now it's kind of the dive and hook area, where the hang and breaking ball now is almost middle away, where 30 years ago it was kind of middle in. Guys like Dick Allen or Harmon Killebrew used to bail and whale, and nowadays you see more guys hook that breaking ball.
3-2. Driven out to deep center field. Going back, Beltran, and he makes the play on the run for the first out. Did A-Rod hit that? But a 3-time Gold Glove winner ran it down.
Well, you know what, Alex is right. That ball's middle of the plate, driving the ball to center field. Obviously, the farthest part of this ballpark here at 408 center field. Alex showing some frustration when anytime you hit it out of the screws like that, the ball running a little bit away from Beltran, makes a nice catch. Good timing of his jump right here. Has it tracked. That's a good sign. I know Alex coming into tonight 234 batting average, but when you start seeing him center, right center, you know he's close.
Here's Cano. Crowd of 47,967 here at Yankee Stadium, as the Yankees continue to have the highest per game average in the major leagues. 1-0 outside, 2-0.
But to further your point, I don't know if 20 years ago when I broke in, I think you broke in a little sooner, that you're right. Now you see the better swings on the guys, especially power guys, like the ball away. Speaking of that, Kevin Long, who worked with Robinson Cano this winter, telling him to use the whole field. And there you see Kevin Long, the hitting coach. And that's really been the approach. Many hitters now, they really have little regard for the inside part of the plate. If you're going to be successful today, you have to throw inside. Whereas what David was saying, once upon a time there was a bit of a bail whale, and the outside part of the plate was the pitchers, and the inside part you missed was the hitters. And that really modeled, that model has flipped. If you, as a pitcher, you can bust in here, then that opens up the outside part of the plate.
2-2. 3-2.
Well, especially righty on righty or lefty on lefty. If you can start a breaking ball right at the hitter, and if you miss inside, it can be a very effective pitch. Hitters aren't used to seeing that pitch come right at them and break over the inside corner. Sort of a front door breaking ball. Now, obviously, this isn't the situation with Livan Hernandez, the right-handed pitcher, and Cano, the left-handed batter.
Soft ground ball up the middle. Castillo fields off balance. Throw, not in time. Infield single for Cano.
We see Robbie gets it off the end of the bat, just by the mound. And Robbie's busted it. A pretty good play by Castillo to make that even close. I didn't think he'd even have a chance once it got by the mound.
Livan Hernandez, for the size he is, he's very athletic. This is a great play for Castillo to get to it. He was playing Cano to slight pull, and if you saw, Livan Hernandez kind of pulled up his glove, which a lot of times pitchers want to get out of there, let the slick fielding middle infielders make the play. I think if Livan Hernandez had realized how much to pull Louis Castillo as he might have gone after this. Watch Livan Hernandez at the very end. He chooses. Well, no, that was by him, but it almost looked like he chose not to really go after the ball. That ball was hit faster than Livan thought.
Well, we're about 2.5 hours into this game, and we're only in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the reason is that 21 of the 55 plate appearances tonight have gone at least 6 pitches. So none of the pitchers are giving in, and some of them have an inability to just throw strikes today. Here's Posada.
You know, and that number you just said, Michael, that really historically, when David was pitching for the Yankees, was their MO. You know, wait the pitcher out. You know, take pitches, get deep in the count, foul a lot of pitches off. Now you get the 98 pitch, and, you know, 6th inning for Livan. That's pretty good. The sooner you can get to that bullpen, very few Major League bullpens are deep enough to where you get that quality plus arm leading up to your setup guy.
Switcher's about ready. You've got the lefty Matsui on deck.
Livan Hernandez tonight, his average fastball right around 85 miles an hour, but all the way down to 61 miles an hour with a curveball. So just about everything in between. The proverbial kitchen sink type pitcher.
There's a strike.
When you chart Livan Hernandez and his velocities throughout the game, you're all over the map. You know, it's low 80s, high 70s, low 70s, all the way down to low 60s. Cut, sink, little finger pressure makes the ball move.
And the count now 3-1.
Well, you mentioned Roy Halladay being the best pitcher in the game, and he's a lot of fun to watch, but similar, except with better velocity for a guy that really will vary his speeds greatly, although he could throw into the low 90s. And I agree with you, David. This is fun to watch. There's another guy you'd argue is one of the best pitchers in the game. Johan Santana.
Well, Santana, to me, has really proved himself. For a guy that was booed on opening day in his first year with the Mets when he signed, and almost questioned last year down the stretch whether he would get deeper into games by his manager, no less Jerry Manuel. Boy, that guy's got some guts. You know, he has really earned his stripes as a Met. He's leading this Met staff. It's going to be fun to see him Sunday too as well.
Against A.J. Burnett right here on Yes, the 3-1. That one's driven deep to right. Fair ball, it's gone. It's a foul ball. Kept hooking.
This is location-wise, Livan didn't get it away. That ball caught right away. Posada knew that he got the barrel of the bat out in front of the ball. And anytime a hitter does that, it's nearly impossible to keep it fair. You've got to keep your hands inside of the baseball to drive it. That's the effectiveness of the changing of the speeds of what Livan Hernandez has done tonight. Battled his way up to this point.
Let's see if they send Cano on the 3-2. They do. And that pitch was inside, so Posada works a walk. And Jerry Manuel will head out to the mound. Let's see if he takes Livan with him. He's got the left-hander Switzer ready and Matsui due up. He has already signaled to bring in the left-hander. And he says good job to Livan Hernandez. So Livan is leaving with a 6-4 lead. Will the Met bullpen hold on? Switzer gets the first shot against Matsui. 2 runners on. Come on back here on Yes. Mets on Sunday, June 14th. The Yankees ask that you arrive at the stadium early. It's Military Appreciation Day, and there's a comprehensive pregame program planned, including a performance by the Army's Golden Knights parachute team. The ceremonies begin approximately at noon with the Yankees against the Mets to follow at 1:05. So if you have tickets to the game on Sunday, June 14th, be sure to arrive early. And as we mentioned, what a pitching matchup. A.J. Burnett against Johan Santana. And our coverage on Yes will start at 12. Livan Hernandez now a spectator as John Switzer will deal to Hideki Matsui. Hernandez works hard. 7 hits in 5 1/3 innings. He's allowed 4 runs. The runners on base are his responsibility. He threw 103 pitches. Way outside to Matsui. With AAA Buffalo, the numbers are good. Way more than a strikeout per inning, less than a hit per inning, a 2.13 ERA. Cano at second, Posada at first with 1 out. Bottom of the 6th. And the pitch. And the count 2-0. The birthday boy, Hideki Matsui at the plate, 35 today. The 2-0. Driven deep to right field. Happy birthday, Matsui. See ya! A 3-run home run. And the Yankees take back the lead. They're up 7-6. Last year, a grand slam on his birthday. This year, a 3-run home run, his 9th home run of the year.
He gets his fastball, the move backfiring for the Mets right now. Switzer lifts it over the plate, misses his location. Started him off with a couple breaking balls. Matsui took advantage of that.
And Cabrera grounds one to short. Cora across the diamond for the 2nd out. Let's take a look at the IOTV HD Super Shot. Here's Brett Gardner. So they call up Switzer, and a rude welcome here in the Bronx.
Yeah, Switzer missed with 2 straight sliders. Tried to go away with a fastball, and a 2-0 fastball to Matsui in this ballpark right there is going to get hammered, and it did.
Grounded, and a great play by Murphy. Steps on the bag, took a double away from Brett Gardner. But what a way to celebrate your birthday. Yankees down by 2 until that pitch. Matsui with a 3-run home run into the Bronx night. We go to the 7th, and the Yankees lead 7-6. summer's new Yankees Classics. Relive the night of May 1st of this season when Jorge Posada delivered a game-winning walk-off hit in a comeback victory against the Angels. It's an all-new Yankees Classic. Monday night at 7, only on Yes. Here's Gary Sheffield. And a strike. Now Robertson could pick up the win. John Switzer going over in his mind. That pitch to Matsui. Pitch outside. 7-6. The Yankees have certainly gone the long ball route here in the Bronx. They've hit 4 out of the park. Matsui's the biggest, a 3-run shot to give him the lead. Count 2-1. Sheffield the only home run for the Mets, so 5 home runs out of the park. And the 2-1. Line drive, base hit, right center field. Gardner fields. He's going to fire the ball into second. Sheffield's going for 2. And he's in there with a double.
Sheffield getting all fastballs after hitting the breaking ball from Tomko. This ball is on the outside part of the plate. Good hitting by Gary Sheffield. He opens up a little bit cheating. You get a little older, you want to start a little sooner. But he was able to stay on that ball, recognizing that Robertson was going away. Right out of the box, he says, I'm going for 2. This isn't some decision as he decides to hit the ball, as whether he's going to go or not. See, he kind of pulls off, leaks a little bit, but has good bat lag. Drives the ball to right center field. See if the location, good location. That's just good hitting right there.
Well, Joe Girardi will take the ball from Robertson. He's going to call on the left-hander, Phil Cope, with Daniel Murphy coming up. So Robertson could get the win. The runner at second is his responsibility. Yes studio for the WB Mason postgame. Get all the highlights and stats from tonight's game against the Mets and hear what the players have to say to Kim Jones in the clubhouse. It's the Emmy Award-winning WB Mason postgame. It's right here on Yes. Well, Phil Cope comes in for the Yankees. He'll be pitching in his 3rd straight game. He threw 9 pitches Wednesday, 12 pitches yesterday, and he's facing Daniel Murphy here tonight. Foul back.
You see those numbers, and it's a command issue for any pitcher, but you see the 11 walks at the 24 innings. Early on, he struggled with his command a bit. Tried to keep the walks to innings ratio down, obviously. Very good stuff, Phil Cope. Touch in the mid-90s.
And the 0-1. Hot shot, base hit to right field. Sheffield rounds 3rd, coming around slowly, and he'll stop right there. Razor Shines held him up. Gary was not running well at all. And he hustled for a double. His knee's been bothering him all year. The double, he looked fine, but going around 3rd, he did not.
Well, this ball was scolded, as you say, I think the call here with nobody out, knowing that Gary Sheffield, older guy, well, he wasn't sure, making sure that it got through the infield. Running a little gingerly there. Nobody out, you want to be conservative.
Well, the Mets are going to go to their bench, and they're going to send up Fernando Tatis to pinch hit for Brian Schneider. Now, Tatis last year was a great player off the bench, showing a lot of power. But then when he started to play every day this year, his numbers kind of came down. He was not as effective. Now Daniel Murphy's playing most of the time at first, and they will spot Tatis every now and then. But a pinch hitter, he's hitting .264, 2 homers and 12 ribbies. Yankees will take the double play, and they'll give up the run with nobody out. And the pitch. Foul back. Koch is a left-hander who doesn't only get out left-handers, so when you counter and send up a righty, you're not really playing into you're kind of playing into Joe Girardi's hands, because Koch does have stuff to get out righties. It's not a problem at all. As a pinch hitter this year, Tatis is 3 for 10. Guy out of the game for a couple of years, made a comeback with the Mets, and has become a very productive bench player.
To your point, Michael, 205 left-handed batters are batting against Koch and 195 right-handers. And for Tatis, 277 against right-handers, 244 against left-handers.
Those are the pinch hitting numbers. 1 ribby. Sheffield's at third. Daniel Murphy is at first. There's a ground ball to Cano. Let's see if they turn 2. There's one on to first. It's a double play. Sheffield scores, and the game is tied at 7. No RBI for Tatis, but the run counts nonetheless.
Nice pitch by Phil Koch right there, and an even better play by Robinson Cano. Quick turn. Just like you said, Michael, you trade a run for 2 outs. See Joe Girardi telling the outfield to back up right there.
There's Castillo. On the right side, there's a strike.
Luis Castillo's got a little more pop batting right-handed as opposed to lefty. He's more of a slap hitter left-handed, trying to slap and run. Right-handed, he actually can drive the ball a little better.
And the count quickly 0-2.
Got a little quick update for you, Michael. Ryan Howard has gone deep in Philly to tie Boston off of Ramirez. 2-2 in the bottom of the 9th, still batting.
Ramirez gave up 2 straight home runs to the Yankees in an appearance.
Papelbon probably not available tonight.
And that game's down on the top of the 10th. Sean Green is ready for the Mets. So the count now 1-2 on Castillo.
Would be Ryan Howard's 19th home run of the year.
And the pitch. 2-2.
Well, that team, the only thing they're lacking is one starting pitcher. Not even front line, with the offense that they show, similar to the Yankee lineup. Power all the way around. They will be in the trade hunt for starting pitcher come the deadline.
2-2. Shattered bat. Right back to Koch, and that's going to do it. Well, the Mets tie the score. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. At the end of 6.5 innings of play, we are knotted at 7. Yankees and the Mets, but stay right here as we honor America in the Bronx. We have a wild one. A lot of lead changes. And it's 7-7 now. In the bottom of the 7th inning. Yankees have hit 4 home runs. And the Mets have hit a home run. So both starting pitchers are not involved in the decision. We'll see how the bullpens do. Omir Santos takes over for Schneider behind the plate as Tatis pinch hit for Schneider. Here's Sean Green. Came over from the Mariners. And you see his numbers. About a hit per inning. 2-to-1 strikeout to ball ratio. Strikeout to walk ratio. And he'll face the top of the order. Starting with Jeter. Jeter thinks about a bunt as Wright was way back at third. Pitches upstairs 1-0. Mets bullpen does not have J.J. Putz. Elbow surgery, might be out 12 weeks. They're hoping to get him back sometime in August or September. They also might get Billy Wagner back for the last couple of weeks of the season. He had Tommy John surgery. There's a slow roller toward third. David Wright across the diamond. 1 away. Mets have a new closer this year. It's Fernando Rodriguez, K-Rod, and he has been very good for them. Now Green has pitched the last 2 days, 4 pitches yesterday, 18 pitches on Wednesday.
Well, you mentioned the J.J. Putz injury. That as Eddie bullpen, it backs everybody up and moves them around. Bobby Parnell, who was the 7th inning pitcher for Jerry Manuel and the Mets, now pushed to the 8th inning. Really, this is the little Achilles heel right now for the Mets. Sean Green has been inconsistent enough for them to not have a whole lot of confidence yet, as most teams. You look across baseball, the teams that have that lock or close to lock in that 8th, 9th inning, 7th, 8th, leading up to a stalwart closer.
Green's last 10 games, he's really clicked in. 9 2/3, 4 hits. Has not allowed a run, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. First of 6 games between these two teams. 3 here, 3 at Citi Field. And the count now 3-0 to Nick Swisher. So Girardi and Manuel will try to outsmart the other. 3-0. And Nick Swisher works a walk. Doesn't make sense to walk Nick Swisher when Mark Teixeira is on deck, and that's what Sean Green just did.
Well, you know, you just cited some very good numbers in his last 10 games, and you know, it all depends on, you know, the innings and the situation. Where you see Teixeira early in the game getting a Livan Hernandez fastball out over the plate, leading the American League in home runs.
Teixeira's just got the perfect left-handed swing for this ballpark. Just a little bit of a slight uppercut. Good fastball hitter.
There's a strike.
Pull hitter from the left side. More of a spray hitter. Not spray hitter, but use the whole field from the right side. And clearly at Yankee Stadium here, right field has been generous to the hitters.
Along with Al Leiter and David Cohn, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. We thank you for joining us on this Friday evening, a beautiful Friday evening after a lousy night and early morning. And we've got a dandy at 7-7 Yankees Mets. Count 2-1.
Teixeira's 3rd inning 2-run home run in this game was his 16th batting left-handed this year out of his 20. The 223rd of his career.
And the count 3-1. Green really working himself into trouble. Big healthy cut there. Count 3-2.
A little over anxious there. Teixeira sees the fastball over the middle, over the heart of the plate, but down. Got no problem with that. This guy's aggressive. He wants to hit in there. Certainly chased a little bit down. kind of see Green's funky. You know, he kind of jumps at the hitter, kind of flies open, low three-quarter delivery, really tries to manufacture movement. When he does get on top of it, it goes straight down. But it kind of does something different every time now. It goes side to side sometimes and down.
You wonder if he actually knows what he's doing. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but when you get a super sinker guy like Sean Green, and that pitch that Teixeira swung over, as David just said, it had tremendous, almost like split kind of sink at 89 miles an hour. And anytime that becomes inconsistent because of his delivery being a little floppy, you have a different hand angle.
And Teixeira works a walk. So in his last 10 games, he walked one batter, and now in this inning, he has walked two. And Dan Worthen, the pitching coach, will go out and talk with Sean Green as Alex Rodriguez comes up.
Well, that's where sometimes numbers, and I haven't seen obviously all these appearances, but just talking to some of the people who've been following the Mets, there's something to be said for, let's take a look at the pitch by pitch of the meaningful close games and what these innings and outs mean. Just missing, he just came after him with sinker after sinker. That was a nasty sinker that just dropped off the table. That again, he had a pretty good hack at. That ball missed again. See where Santos wants the ball away, end up missing inside. You get a guy kind of a slinging, as David said, just slinging power sinker. His mindset is just somewhere down in the zone. For as much as pitchers would want to be on the corner, his mindset is just down over the plate. You'll get a ground ball somewhere.
Here's Alex Rodriguez, who had a big hit in yesterday's game, a double off the center field wall at Fenway to drive in two. Give the Yankees a 3-1 lead. It didn't hold up, and he takes a strike. A-Rod tonight is 1 for 3. 7-7 game, the pitch. Fouled it twice, once on the backswing, and the count 0-2. This is the hit we were talking about last night, the 7th inning in the rain at Fenway. And he absolutely crushed it. Drove in two, gave the Yankees a 3-1 lead, and it looked like to be heading to a nice feel-good win, but it fell apart in the 8th inning. Alex could not hold up. He goes around and strikes out. So Rodriguez waves at that breaking ball.
Well, he comes after him with some sinkers, and then this slider he just can't let up. You see, once Alex committed, by then it's too late. Your swing's coming through, hoping to check swing and get a call. Clearly swung there.
Here is Robinson Cano. Yankees have had a good run here in the 7th inning. They've scored 57 runs in the 7th inning this year, by far the most they have in any inning. So some of that late inning magic, comeback magic for the Yankees. They've had 20 come from behind victories. And that's chopped to first. Daniel Murphy will step on the bag, and that'll do it. So Sean Green works into and out of trouble. No runs, no hits, 2 walks, no errors, and 2 men left. We go to the 8th, all tied at 7. throughout the Yankee season on Yes. We're allowing you to vote along with the three of us here in the booth for the Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772. Tonight's candidates are the birthday boy, Hideki Matsui. That's number 1. Number 2, Ryan Church. Number 3, Mark Teixeira. Number 4, the captain, Derek Jeter. Please vote now. Make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Phil Koch's still in there as we go to the 8th inning, and he'll face at the top of the order. Here's Alex Cora. 0-1. Yankees with 8 hits, the Mets with 6, and the Yankees have committed 1 error, and that's a throwing error by Cano. And the pitch outside. Mariano Rivera and Alfredo Aceves. Foul back.
Well, depending upon how this inning plays out, Beltran switch hitter, 345 against right-handers with 4 home runs. 333 with 4 home runs against lefties, so that'll be the decision for Girardi. With the left, and then switch, right being right.
And the 1-2. Popped up. Middle of the infield. Phil Koch called up by Jeter, who makes the play. Shades of Billy Martin in the World Series against the Dodgers. Everybody's looking, and Billy Martin came charging in to make the catch, and Jeter does it right there.
Well, I've always been taught, unless it's right on the mound, just get out of the way. You've got slick fielding infielders that get paid well to field the baseball. You get paid to pitch. I'm not saying to take away the aggressiveness of Phil Koch, but he traveled far enough away from there. You have to assume as the pitcher that your middle infielders are going to be there, and you saw Jeter having to pull up there, make sure he didn't run into him.
Here's Fernando Martinez. High fly ball, left center. Cabrera and Gardner. Gardner calls off Cabrera for the second out. Take another look at how Jeter made this play. Kind of in no man's land. But he saves everybody's bacon by taking it off his shoe tops. So Posada talks things over with Koch. You've always said this to me, Al. A pitcher will look at a lineup and study it before the game. And the Met lineup is compromised because of the injuries. And you look at this lineup, there's 2 guys you're not going to let beat. It's Beltran and it's Wright. Now, maybe in the old days it would have been Sheffield, but those are the 2 guys you're concentrating on.
That's right. I mean, you just said it, Michael. You look at the lineup as a whole, and I saw it as a complete package, if you will. Certain guys you pitch around to get to the better matchup.
Now, Joe Girardi comes out, and he's walking slowly. He's got Aceves ready. He's got Mariano ready. In fact, Mariano's the only one throwing out there. 7-7 game, top of the 8th inning. And he is going to signal for Rivera a very, very different maneuver here for Joe Girardi, bringing Rivera into a tie game in the 8th inning with nobody on. Well, Lowe will make the jog in. It'll be Rivera against Beltran here in the 8th of a tie game, and early enter Sandman.
Center Stage, hosted by Michael Kay. The singer-songwriter looks back on his career, including his early days growing up in New York and meeting Joe DiMaggio. Center Stage, Paul Simon, tonight after the postgame, only on Yes.
You know, on that show, he actually says he wrote that song about you. You can call me out. Yeah. Well, Mariano has not thrown since Monday. And they bring him in here with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Those are his numbers. And he will face the dangerous Carlos Beltran. There's a strike. David, what do you think of this move?
Well, we've seen him. Mariano's in this game in the next inning either way to get 3 outs.
Right.
If it's tied or with
ahead.
the lead. So instead of 3 outs, you're going to get 4 outs, which is what he said he would have done last night in Boston. Not 6 outs, but he would do 4 outs. He probably doesn't want to have a chance of Beltran taking Phil Coke deep in this situation. A lot of respect for Beltran, even though he's going to flip him around and make Beltran bat left-handed here.
David Wright is on deck. Beltran's 3 for 13 against Mo. And the count 2-1.
This shows you the importance Joe Girardi puts on this game right here after the sweep in Boston. A real disappointing series in Boston, especially the 3rd game, the last game when you had the lead and Mariano did not get used. So Girardi feels like they need to get this game.
Well, and also, too, greatest reliever all time, it'll end up for Mariano. As you just said, even if Coke lost Beltran, he was going to come in for right-handed. You know that. Who do you have more faith in the execution of the pitch? Certainly nothing against Phil Coke, but you know, Mariano has shown over his entire career impeccable command.
Beltran works a walk.
Well, patented cutter, inside corner, just off. Once again, being very careful. Takes a shot away. Good location, not giving in. Just not going to give an inch to Beltran, the hot hitter. In this ballpark, batting left-handed. Mo just almost was not going to give him anything at all to look at or swing at over the plate.
That's just the 2nd unintentional walk that Mariano has issued this season. Here's David Wright. I'll give you my take on the move. I understand what you said, Dave. It's June 12th. Joe Torre used to do things like this in the playoffs. It just sends a message to the team, well, this is an urgent game. It's not an urgent game. It's a June 12th game. And I think the only reason this move is being made is because the Red Sox swept you the previous series.
Well, you said he hasn't pitched since Monday.
Right.
So, I mean, he's got to...
Well, he's going to pitch tonight.
Yeah. It's a valid point, Michael. It just puts a lot of importance on this game. It is the Subway Series. It is your crosstown rival, the Mets, coming on the heels, as you said, of getting swept in Boston.
Keeping Beltran close.
The Yankees are shorthanded in their bullpen, waiting for Brian Bruni to come back. Possibly Damaso Marte.
One. 1-2.
Another thing, when you look at the dynamic of this particular series, too, Michael, is the Mets are forced with Maine on the DL to throw a rookie pitcher tomorrow. And you know Johan Santana's waiting Sunday, so that also puts importance on this game, knowing that the Mets are shorthanded themselves and have to throw a rookie pitcher out there tomorrow.
The 1-2. 2-2. Runner goes, and that one's driven out to right center field. It's trouble. It goes to the wall. Beltran rounds third. He's going to score. Wright's on second with an RBI double, and the Mets have retaken the lead, 8-7.
David Wright came in swinging a hot bat, and this pitch just kind of takes a seat. You can tell Mariano's reaction right there. He knew it. And that's the times Mariano trying to go away. Doesn't get it away. It flattens out right where David Wright likes it. Drilled into the gap. Easy stand-up double and a ribby for Wright with Beltran running.
Here's Ryan Church. And the count 1-0.
Almost see Mariano's reaction. The minute that ball left his hand, he knew it wasn't going to go where he was trying to get it.
And the count 2-0. Pedro Feliciano warming. And there's a strike. And the count 2-2. All with 2 outs. Carlos Beltran walked. David Wright doubled to right center field to drive home Beltran, and the Mets lead 8-7 here in the top of the 8th inning. And Church down on strikes, and that'll do it. But the damage has been done. A 2-out walk, a 2-out double. 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Mets lead 8-7. The Land Rover drive of the game.
Hideki Matsui gets a 2-0 fastball right down the middle. Drills it into the second deck over the Utz potato chip sign. Hideki Matsui, the Land Rover drive of the game.
And the pitch to Posada is a strike. Seesaw game. And the count 1-1. Yankees are up 1-0. Mets led 2-1. Yankees led 3-2. Mets led 6-3. Then it was 6-4. Then it was 7-6. Then it was 7-7. And now 8-7 in favor of the Mets. Sean Green stands to pick up the victory, and the Met bullpen can hold on.
Probably Green's last hitter of the game.
Grounded to Daniel Murphy. He flips to Green. And there's one away.
Got Matsui on deck and Feliciano, who has been exceptional against left-handed hitters this year.
This is last year on Matsui's 34th birthday in Oakland. He hit a grand slam. Well, it's his 35th birthday tonight. And here in the Bronx, in the 6th inning, he hit a 3-run home run that at least temporarily gave the Yankees the lead. Well, Jerry Manuel will start mixing and matching. He's going to call on the left-hander Feliciano to face Matsui. Sean Green, right now the pitcher of record on the winning side. So the lefty against the Yankee lefty. When we get back, Mets lead this one 8-7 on Yes. (8-7) Mets lead. And Pedro Feliciano, who's putting together a good season. He has a whip of under 117 hits, 5 walks. That's 22 base runners and 25 innings. So he'll face Matsui.
Feliciano has been exceptional against left-handed hitters this year. 61 at bats. Lefties are hitting 131 off of him.
Matsui pops one up the left. And there are 2 outs.
You mentioned that batting average against David. Feliciano was a guy earlier in his major league career was a little higher with his arm angle. And anytime you see a lefty specialist, especially like Feliciano, there's a lot of guys that are lefty-lefty matchup. He dropped his arm angle down, and because of that, he throws across his body. Very hard for left-handed hitters to pick up. Added movement. And a guy like this, when his numbers are reflective of success, he just plays with it. You become more confident, attack hitters. See that sidearm winding delivery.
Well, the Yankees don't get to Feliciano. They're going to have to deal with K-Rod in the 9th inning to try to come back. That's nubbed the other way. Right there is Murphy, and he'll step on the bag, so the Yankees go down in order against Green and Feliciano. 1-2-3 inning. We go to the 9th. Mets are up by 1.
Saw 2 outs in the 9th, and Mariano Rivera on the mound. There'll be some questions as to that. Mariano knew it right away. David Wright with his 18th double, 36 RBI, scoring Carlos Beltran. That's your Geico play of the game.
So Mariano against his former teammate Gary Sheffield, and the pitch is inside 1-0. Sheffield 2 for 4, a 2-run home run in the 5th, and then a double and a run scored in the 7th. Yankees about hit the Mets. The Mets about scored the Yankees. It's 8-7 in the 9th. Now, if you want to look ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, you'll have Gardner, Jeter, and Swisher. That's 9-1-2 against K-Rod.
Well, I know you're dying to advance this debate, Michael. So I know you said last inning that you thought Torrey never made those moves in June. It's kind of a panic move. And,
it's definitely a move that would tell the players that this is a really big game.
Well, actually, in 07, Torrey brought Mo in June and 5 times. Girardi did it last year just 1 time, bringing Mo into the game for 2 innings. In 07, Torrey brought Mo in 5 times in June for 2 innings. 4 times in 06.
Now, do we know if any of those games you ever recall ever coming in a tie game in the 8th inning?
Really close pitch. Chef doesn't like it again. Chef's been arguing all night long. He's had a good night. I'll get my guy Ryan Rucco on that for me, Mike.
3-2. Fouled straight back here. Just to our right.
Actually, it was Torrey who started that. We play to win in tie games. He's the guy who started bringing Mo in tie games in the 8th, because obviously if the Yankees win in extra innings or in the 9th, the game is over.
Strike 3. Sheffield down looking.
Let's take a look at the pitch by pitch. Sinker. Little normally you see the cutter comes in again. Looks like another 2-seamer that runs in. Running in again on Sheffield. That looked like more of the straighter cutter, and then just paints on the inside corner. Misses with that location. Sheffield wished he had that one. Perfect pitch. far as that angle, looked like a strike.
Count 1-0 to Daniel Murphy.
So I know Ryan Rucco's a Fordham guy, Michael, but I just stole him right from you tonight.
You can have him if he's going to give you this info. No, I think it's a fascinating debate. I mean, no one's wrong, no one's right.
Yeah, well, you make valid points. Just trying to advance the debate.
And it was a debate that was started today on Talk Radio New York. People, why did he come in and pitch 6 outs yesterday? Why would you go with a Seves? And that's the beauty of baseball. Everything is second guessable, especially if it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, it emboldens the one who thinks it's the wrong move. And that person becomes louder and more strident. The 2-2. Ground ball is short. Jeter's there. 2 away. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Firestone, a tradition of innovation. And by Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees.
I think it's this, and I'm leaning toward more David. I think you have the great Mariano Rivera. If you left Coke in, whatever happened, walk, base hit, whatever it was, assuming that was a home run, he was facing David Wright. Right-hand, left-hand matchup. So I think, you know, the wiggle room, he was coming in. Whether it was going to be the start of the 9th inning or to face David Wright. I know the 2 quick outs.
Well, isn't it then a total indictment of the fact that you don't have an 8th inning guy? Because that would be an 8th inning guy's role. Because you don't believe that a Seves can get that out. Because that's a Seves' inning. That's your 8th inning guy's inning. That's Bruni's inning, Marte's inning, Jeff Nelson's inning, Mike Stanton's inning. That's their innings. All of a sudden, that's a void there, and that's why you're tempted to go with Mariano at that point.
I agree with that 100%. To me, that was what was glaring right there.
The 1-1.
You know what, I think Seves has never really been an 8th inning guy. He's more of a kitchen sink style of pitcher. He's an innings eater. He's probably closer to a starting pitcher than he is a shutdown 8th inning guy. I think Phil Hughes is probably more suited to be an 8th inning guy than anybody they have down there right now. Obviously unavailable tonight.
And Omir Santos pops one up, shallow right field. And right there is Swisher. Well, now the Yankees have a chance to come back. Do they have a rally in their bones? They'll have to do it against K-Rod. They trail by 1.
Player of the game is Gary Sheffield in the 5th inning of the 3-run inning, getting a slider off of Brett Conco, his 505th career home run. Gary Sheffield, and later on in the game takes a fastball the other way for a double. Right center field, a little hustle there. Gary Sheffield, the Chevy player of the game.
Well, the Mets will turn now to Francisco Rodriguez. They signed him as a free agent from the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And he will face Gardner, Jeter, and Swisher. Those are his numbers so far this year. 31 strikeouts in just under 30 innings. 16 hits, probably a little bit too many walks. He is 16 for 16 in save situations. Gardner just wants to get on. Then you can start maneuvering. Upstairs 1-0. Johnny Damon has a helmet. He did not start today because of some eye problems. But this is a Yankee lineup where it's hard to choose who you would pinch hit for. So the count 2-0 on Gardner. Jeter's on deck. And the pitch. There's a strike. Well, the Angels replaced K-Rod with Brian Fuentes, but their bullpen is broken down. It just doesn't do the job that it once did, and they are really struggling. The 2-1. Off-speed pitch. Well, it looked like a fast. I guess it was a fastball. Count 2-2.
Well, the lefty-righty matchup is glaring. 130 left-handed batters, 180 right-handed batters, and Francisco Rodriguez has got known as his power slider, good fastball. He's got a great changeup, and really has used it much more this year than ever.
The 2-2 popped up. Omir Santos. 1 out. Hey, tomorrow after Game 2 of this Subway Series, turn back to Yes when our coverage continues with the Emmy Award-winning WB Mason postgame. Then on Sunday, full coverage starts at noon with batting practice today and then the pregame, followed by all the action at 1, only on Yes. And here's Derek Jeter. Derek is 1 for 4, the 1 a home run. Good numbers against K-Rod, 4 for 9. That's 444.
It's part of the thing where I think, Rodriguez got underestimated by the Angels as he did sort of reinvent himself. Like you said, Al, he came up with a great changeup, almost learned it overnight.
He doesn't throw as hard, but he's probably a better pitcher. And I think that the Angels saw, well, there was a drop in velocity and there was going to be a drop in efficacy, and that hasn't been the case. Last year he set the all-time saves record with 62. K-Rod threw 20 pitches Tuesday, 21 pitches Wednesday. He did not pitch yesterday. The 0-1. 1-1.
K-Rod with 62 saves and 69 opportunities last year. Used that changeup a lot last year, too. He kind of broke it out in the middle of the year last year. There it is right there. He'll throw it to right-handed batters or lefties. Great arm action down and away. Jeter does not agree. But here it is. That's a straight changeup right there. Maybe just off borderline. Boy, that's really close. Really quality pitch. A changeup from a right-handed pitcher to a right-handed batter in that location. Devastating.
And the count 2-2. Johnny Damon is going to come up and pinch hit for Nick Swisher. And there's a base hit to center field. So Jeter is the tying run. He's on base.
Another changeup. Jeter's ready for it this time. Off the plate, even more outside. The fact that the previous one was called a strike made Jeter feel like he had to go get that one. And get it, he got. Right back up the middle.
Well, Johnny Damon will pinch hit for Swisher. Why? Swisher 1 for 11 lifetime against K-Rod, and Damon is 2 for 7.
Did I just say get it, he got, Michael?
Yes, you did.
You know what I mean.
But I'm a good teammate. Good teammates don't do that. You said it.
I would rip you if you said it.
I said I'm a good teammate. And the pitch. Outside, 1-0. Well, the Yankees have had 3 wins already this year when trailing after 8 innings. They had 1 all of last season. This is a team that does not quit. It battles. It's gritty. It's gutty. And they're trying to do some more of that right now. There's that change way out in front.
He throws it against right-handers and left-handers, but this is why left-handed batters are batting 130. He's come up with this changeup. See, the ball is up in the zone, but with great arm speed, Johnny Damon not being able to stay back, and it looks like a fastball.
And the 1-1. Outside, 2-1. The Yankees are going to win this game. It's going to be in walk-off fashion. And they've done that 6 times this year already. The 2-1. Strike, 2-2.
What Rodriguez is doing right now for Derek Jeter not to get a good jump. They're trying to pick his spot. See the change up middle of the plate. Pick a spot to be able to run here. Francisco Rodriguez varying his time. A little quick pitch. Holding the ball.
And the 2-2. Count full of 3-2 on deck. The very dangerous Mark Teixeira. Damon's had one of those 6 walk-offs, a home run on May 17th against the Twins, the 3rd of his career. And the 3-2, rip foul. Let's take a look back at that Johnny Damon walk-off. Into the second deck. Damon's deck. Helmet goes up. And the foot comes down on home plate. A crowd of 47,967. They are loud. This is about as loud as this stadium has been so far this year. The 3-2. Staying alive.
Francisco Rodriguez had 34 walks in 68 1/3 innings last year. That is his one Achilles heel. Even though he's hard to hit and can strike you out, he does work himself into trouble, and he is prone to walking guys.
Most of New York, either Met or Yankee fans, on the edge of their couch right now. Runner goes, 3-2 is grounded foul. So they send Jeter that time and put the pressure on Damon to put the ball in play. Well, they've got his delivery time down. They know Santos time to second and how Jeter will get down to second. Jeter's been very effective stealing. Let's see if they send him again. He goes. Swung and a miss. Throw to second. Not in time. So Damon strikes out. Jeter steals second. And that's going to bring up Mark Teixeira. And now, an interesting decision for Jerry Manuel. Let's look at the at-bat first.
Well, he goes right after Johnny Damon with a fastball. Then that great changeup out in front. Flutters another changeup. Hanging changeup on the inside part of the plate. Misses location. Another changeup. A little slider that Johnny was able to get out in front. Fastball that beats him. Changeup, he's out in front. What a tough at-bat. And then a great changeup down in the zone. What an at-bat. What a pitch by Francisco Rodriguez.
Teixeira is 2 for 19 lifetime against K-Rod. And the pitch. Now, you never, ever, the cardinal rule, you don't put the winning run on base. But is it a better matchup, K-Rod against A-Rod, than K-Rod against Teixeira? A-Rod is 1 for 14 against K-Rod.
So I don't think you can give in to Teixeira here. I expect K-Rod to give him a steady dose of changeups. If he doesn't throw a fastball, it's going to be in a really good spot, or just to show it.
The 1-0. 2-0.
Well, also, too, this year, Michael, he's shown that he's more effective against the left-hander because of that changeup. 130 batting average against coming into tonight's game. 180 the right-handed batter.
Jeter's a tying run. He's at second base. In all likelihood, a single ties the game. The 2-0. 3-0. It's not an intentional walk, but it's exactly what David said. He's not giving him anything to hit. He wants him to get himself out.
He's definitely not going to get a fastball to hit. We've seen Teixeira do so much damage on fastballs batting left-handed.
And now they will intentionally walk Teixeira. So, boy, are they laying down the gauntlet to Alex Rodriguez. Here it is. We think that you can't beat us. They're going K-Rod against A-Rod with the game on the line. The numbers 1 for 14. Alex had a huge hit in Boston last night. Looked like it was going to be the game winner for the Yankees. But Sabathia ran out of gas and the bullpen didn't do the job. Can he do it 2 days in a row? Most of the crowd at the stadium on its feet. Jeter's at second. Teixeira's at first. And the Yankee cleanup hitter, Alex Rodriguez, is at the plate. The pitch. 1-0. Well, if you tuned in for some drama, you got it. A nail-biter in the bottom of the ninth inning. The first game of the Subway Series. Yankees against the Mets. And the 1-0. 2-0. Robinson Cano is on deck. K-Rod always had a reputation of making you sweat just a bit. He nails down the save usually, but sometimes it's not that easy.
Two straight fastballs down and away, kind of pulled him off the plate. I'd be surprised if he gives him a fastball here.
The 2-0. 3-0.
Good take by A-Rod right there. Gets a 2-0 changeup, down and away.
Do you green light A-Rod? Maybe gets a fastball down the middle. Rodriguez deals. You got a fastball right down the middle, 3-1. He reached back for that. 95 miles an hour was not a BP fastball.
No, and it's down, too. It's down, even though it's probably outer third. It's pretty close to the corner. Good location. Tough pitch to drive.
tying run is at second. The winning run is at first. Alex Rodriguez at the plate. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. Mets up by 1. And the 3-1. Popped up. Castillo. Dropped the ball! He dropped the ball! Here comes Teixeira! And the Yankees win! Oh my goodness! He dropped the ball! What an ending! The Yankees win 9-8 in the most improbable fashion! A-Rod becomes a hero with a pop-up! Guys, you've seen a lot of baseball. Have you ever seen that?
No, not to end the game. Look at, you don't know who to shake hands. A-Rod's looking apologetic for hitting a pop-up. Obviously, Louis Castillo feels terrible. Boy, the Yankees got one there.
I don't think you get a pie in the face for that one, Michael.
No, you don't. A-Rod thinks he's ended the game. The fans think the game is ended. Castillo thinks the game is ending, but no! The ball drops. Jeter scores, Teixeira scores, and the Yankees win the game. Oh my goodness. The Yankees with their 7th walk-off win of the year, and Kimberly Jones, I guess we could say she's with the somewhat unlikely hero, Alex Rodriguez.
I am, Michael. Alex, do you believe what you just saw?
No, I still don't believe it. I mean, we caught a break, obviously. Wow, we just want to get out of here.
You've hit walk-offs before. How does it feel to hit a walk-off pop-up?
Well, never like this. I mean, obviously, I broke my bat in frustration, and you know, in baseball, you never know. Jeet had a good at-bat, Tex had a good at-bat, and we just caught a break.
What in the world is going through your mind when they intentionally walked Teixeira with that 4th ball to get to you?
Well, I just want to get a good pitch to hit and work the count and get a good pitch, and I got a good pitch, took a good swing and popped it up, and we caught a break.
That never happens either, Alex.
Never. Maybe it's a good sign for good things to come.
How much did you guys need this one, as improbable as it is, coming out of Boston?
Well, obviously, I mean, we needed it. You saw Mo coming in the 8th. That tells you how important Joe thought the win was. And, again, hopefully this gets us in a row.
You guys have been tough on name-brand closers. Frankie Rodriguez had not blown a save all season. How did you guys do it?
Well, he still hasn't. I mean, again, we just caught a break. It's one of those things. We had a lot of breaks go against us against Boston. And, again, hopefully it's a sign of good things to come.
That was perfect. Thank you, Alex and Michael.
Well, thank you, Kim. If I can quote the great late Jack Buck, I don't believe what I just saw. Alex Rodriguez thinks he ended the game, but he'd only just begun. A hero in the most unlikely way. How many times do you fail and get the post-game interview with Kim Jones? That's what happened with Alex Rodriguez. And Luis Castillo is going to have a tough night sleeping as the Mets blow one of their more difficult losses ever. And K-Rod cannot believe it. He blew a save through no fault of his own. We'll be back.